Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope everyone is well, inshallah. Hope you guys are doing well, inshallah. So we've got another live stream tonight, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, we have a topic on the Fitrah and dying to believe. So it's going to be an interesting one, inshallah. Some of the brothers are going to be joining us soon. Wa alaikum salam, Sajida. Hope you're well, inshallah. Uh, what we'll do until everyone joins, inshallah, it'll be good to get you guys on. So I'm going to share where is it? Invite link with you and get some of you guys to come on or ask any questions that you have in the comment section, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam. Chocolate Wala, mashallah. We've got Chocolate Wala on again. May Allah bless you, brother or sister. You're on pretty much every single live stream, mashallah. Hope you're well, inshallah. So here's the joining link for you guys. So if anyone wants to come on and come on live and ask any questions, inshallah, you're more than welcome to. Please keep it around the topic of the fitrah and belief, inshallah. Mark is on, Mark Ward. Wa alaikum salam. From USA, mashallah. Jazakallah khair for joining. Tariq is on, bro. Wa alaikum salam, Tariq. Hope you're well, inshallah. Tariq, mashallah, is one of Sapient's main volunteers, alhamdulillah. May Allah bless the brother. He does some phenomenal work, inshallah. It'd be good to get you on, Tariq. It's up to you, but bro, if you can make you on, if you can't make you on, inshallah, let me know. H. Rahman, wa alaikum salam. Hope you're well, inshallah. So Chocolate Wala says, doing well, alhamdulillah. Hope you and the rest of the team are too. Yes, alhamdulillah, everyone's good, bro. Samba is on. Assalamu alaikum. Salam, brother. Wa alaikum salam. Hope you're well, bro, inshallah. Mahmid, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam to you. So may Allah bless you, brothers and sisters, everyone for joining. Jazakallah khair. Please share this live stream, inshallah. We are looking for, inshallah, the defenders again tonight. We're looking for 60 defenders tonight, inshallah. I'll explain what the defenders is to you guys. For anyone that doesn't know, Sapiens is looking for 2,000 brothers and sisters this Ramadan, inshallah, to support the work at Sapiens by giving just £10 a month, inshallah. So by giving £10 a month, that's 35 pence a day. You'll be supporting all of the amazing work that's been done, all of the publications, all of the courses online, the free learning platform, the Lighthouse mentoring service, and all of the other stuff that we're doing across the world, inshallah. All of the trainings, all of the leadership development courses, all of those things, inshallah. Already we've trained in the past 4 years, 40,000 people, alhamdulillah. We have over 16 books that have been published. We have over 16 courses. I have at least, and I know Dr. Uthman is working on another book this year as well. But I have 2 more books planned, inshallah, for this year. The Dying to Believe book and the Young Muslim's Guide to a Godless World. And a brand new course, inshallah, to go along with that as well. So that's going to be, inshallah, very beneficial. And we'll talk about that today as well, the Dying to Believe book. So there's a lot of work, but we need you brothers and sisters to support the work so we can continue it, inshallah. And that's why we're looking for 2,000 defenders, inshallah, to give £10 a month. And that's, like I said, 35 pence a day. And that will go towards helping and supporting all of the work that we're doing, including all of our Lighthouse mentoring service and all of the things that we're doing, inshallah. H. Rahman, Ramadan Kareem to you too, brother. We got BU, I can't even say that name, man. But BU's there. Wa alaikum salam. Noah, wa alaikum salam. Noah, hope you're well, inshallah. So Mohammed says, any new plans? Let's bring this up. Any new big plans for Sapiens? Yeah, so there's a couple of things, inshallah. A couple of things we're planning and that are still in the process of planning whether they're the best thing to do, inshallah, this year. And a couple of things I can inform you about. So we have the new course, A Young Muslim's Guide to a Godless World, inshallah. That's going to be coming out this year. Hijab's book, Londonia, that's going to be published, I believe, this year as well, inshallah, which is going to be an extensive volume. And if you've seen his lives, the Londonia lives on the Sapiens channel, that's, mashallah, it's a phenomenal project. So that's coming out as well, inshallah. Hopefully this year. It's a big project, so it may take longer. There's 2 more books that I'm working on, Dying to Believe and A Young Muslim's Guide. Those 2 books will be coming out this year, inshallah. Dying to Believe will be coming out sooner. The Young Muslim's Guide, inshallah, will be out prior to next Ramadan, because I have to still write the whole book. I'm just in the process of finishing off the course right now. So once that's done, inshallah, the book will follow as well. We're going to carry on. There's going to be, I believe, Hamza's probably going to do some more of those uh, leadership courses that he's been doing across the world, inshallah. Sheikh Fahd is going to be carrying on delivering. Sheikh Fahd is going to be delivering all of the courses. So here's another big thing I forgot to mention. We have the online learning platform. We got the courses online that's free that you guys can access, inshallah. But we're going to be delivering some of our core courses across the UK and EU and across America as well, inshallah, in person. So we're going to be out there in person delivering the courses, inshallah. So that's the essentials package. You'll see that on the Sapiens website very soon, inshallah, after Ramadan. So if you want the courses to be delivered in your community, you guys will be able to request that. Again, it will be free of charge, inshallah. The only costs that you will incur, or anyone that will request those will incur, it will be the travel costs, if they can cover them, inshallah. If not, then we'll cover them as well, inshallah. So that's going to be a big one, because in-person training is there's nothing that replaces that. You know, when people come and you engage with the people face to face, and you spend a couple of days with them, going through the content, discussing it, doing role plays, all of that type of stuff is very powerful. So that's inshallah coming as well. It's coming in again straight after Ramadan. That's going to be launched, inshallah. That will cover the Young Muslims Guide to a Godless World, new Muslim mentorship, which we're also launching. That's another big project this year as well. Yusuf is working on it. So there's going to be a course, a new Muslim mentorship course, and there's going to be new Muslim mentorship through our Lighthouse Mentoring too. So that's going to be added on as a service to the Lighthouse Mentoring, inshallah, this year. So there's that course. Then there's the No Doubt course by Sheikh Fahd Taslim, and then there's the Awakening course, the advanced Dawah training course, inshallah. So that will be the package of those 4 courses that we're going to be launching across the world, especially UK, EU, and America too, inshallah. So Mahmoud, hopefully that answers your question, brother. Baba Haji, wa alaikum salam. Hope you're well, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, please share. If you're watching this, please share this. Share the live stream so we can get more people on, inshallah, because we are looking for 60 defenders tonight, inshallah. So, inshallah, if you can donate, please do donate, inshallah. It's a blessed month of Ramadan. It's a month where our rewards, inshallah, are increased. You know, it's a month of barakah. And we are also just generally encouraged to spend in the path of Allah. And I can assure you that the work that we're doing at Sapiens is much needed work. You know, people are dying, literally dying to believe we're going to be covering today, but are dying for this content and need this content and this information. Like, for example, the Lighthouse Mentoring service itself is a profoundly needed service that doesn't exist, that I'm aware of anywhere else, where people with doubts, Muslims with doubts, Muslims that have left Islam, Muslims that are on the verge of leaving Islam, can come have a one-to-one, 1-hour session with a trained mentor who has the experience to deal with their questions and queries. And as far as I'm aware, the last time I checked with Yusuf, we have an 85% plus success rate with that service. So that's 85% of people that come onto the service actually come back to Islam and start practicing again, inshallah. So there's a lot of reward in this as well, because we know the Prophet mentioned that, if you guide someone to something good and they act upon that good, they will be rewarded for it, but you will also be rewarded for it. So, it's an opportunity for us to attain those rewards as if we help that person, inshallah, by donating £10 a month, brothers and sisters. That's what we're looking for, inshallah. Tonight, we're looking for 60 defenders. And let's see if we, in the next hour or so, we can get 10 of those defenders, inshallah. Let's try to aim for 10 to start with, inshallah. So share the live, very important. Share this on your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, or X as is known now. And let's get as many people as we can on this stream. But like I said, we're going to get the brothers joining us a bit later on. Yusuf's coming, Dr. Uthman is coming, inshallah. Hamza may pop on as well. But if anyone has any questions or would like to jump onto the stream and ask any questions related to the topic of the Fitrah or belief, here is the link. I've just shared it now with you guys, so you guys can jump on. Anyone that's watching and would like to support the work and donate, you can see the link on the bottom of the screen, inshallah. It's sapiensinstitute.org/defenders. So definitely go to that link and support the work, brothers and sisters, inshallah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to try go back in and see if I can access the donor box so I can see what's going on real time, inshallah. And I can update you guys as well as to how we're doing. Okay. Donors. Okay, while I log in, brothers and sisters, any questions, drop them in the comments box or just join us live, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Baba Haji. Yes, like the live stream and share the live stream, inshallah. Don't be lazy Muslims. Yeah, and doesn't take much to share the live. Honestly, it just takes one click, inshallah. So definitely share this, brothers and sisters. MashaAllah, Tariq has put this beautiful message up. Just to break it down for you guys, £10 donation a month is 35 pence a day. We can't get much with 35 pence. But just 35 pence, if you support Sapiens work tonight, can lead to such immense reward, inshallah. It's a no-brainer, brothers and sisters, honestly. I mean, if you had to spend 35 pence a day, it's the type of change that if you find in one of your old, jacket pockets, you'll just leave it there because it's more of a hassle carrying it around than a benefit. It's just loose change. We spend it all the time. So just £10 a month, you can assure yourself, inshallah, amazing reward, inshallah. So definitely support the work and donate, inshallah. Rogna's on. Who else is on? General is on. Demands. I'm tempted to come have a chat, lol. Yes, if you are, bro, help yourself, inshallah. You got the link. Ibrahim, I see you on the back end, bro. If you can just, the device is not connected. So if you maybe want to use a different device, because sometimes when you use a certain device, it doesn't connect through StreamYard. So it's showing me your device is not connected, Ibrahim Khan. So you may want to pop off, bro, and then jump back on, inshallah. If your general says, where is, I think you're referring to Sheikh Ajairi. He is gonna. By the way, Sheikh Ujeri and Hijab are gonna be doing a live stream in a couple of days, guys. So don't miss that, especially for the Arabic-speaking audience. It's gonna be a phenomenal one, inshallah. I can actually tell you guys. Give me a second. I'll tell you when it is, and that way you guys can join that too, inshallah, when that happens. So that is going to happen. Okay, I don't know, but it's in a couple of days. That's what I do know. So definitely join that, inshallah. Okay, so let's go to the. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's go. Yes, 20 HS. We're looking for 60 defenders tonight, brothers and sisters. I know it's the middle of Ramadan, right? This is the lazy period. This is the time we get really tired and we get burnt out and we struggle, not only with our fasting or our energy levels, but even with our donations. We tend to hold back during this time. But inshallah, be one of those that actually spends during this time, brothers and sisters. It's immense rewards. This month is full of rewards, inshallah. So definitely support the work. Go to sapiensinstitute.org/defenders, inshallah. Mark Ward is on. Let's get Mark on. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Mubarak. You too, Ramadan Kareem.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Okay,
nice
question. I haven't. Alhamdulillah. Same. I have not found a good answer to this question. When we say the Fitrah, we all know the famous verses in the Quran. But what I was wondering is what all can we say that includes? Like, for example, when we speak of, some people will just simply add or assume instinct, human nature, and those are great philosophical arguments. But I'm saying that if we were to look in the text, our primary text, what all can we say is included in the Fitrah, and where do we get the information from?
Okay.
And I ask because I haven't found a satisfying answer.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. So the Fitrah. Okay, let me go through it like this. Let's just go through I'm assuming you know the brief sort of definition of the Fitrah, brother. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's what we refer to as the disposition, the innate natural state of a human being. Now, there are a couple of narrations of the Prophet ﷺ where he mentions or speaks about the fitrah as well. And in one narration, he mentions that every child is born upon the fitrah, so this innate state, and it's his parents that make him a Jew, a Christian, or a Magian, or a fire worshipper. Now, this shows us that everyone that's born has this fitrah. Now, what is this fitrah? If you look at what the scholars have said, there's a few different opinions in regards to what or how they refer to the fitrah itself. So some of them would say it's an inclination, right? It's an awareness that's been placed within us. Some would say that it's actually knowledge. So it's a type of innate knowledge which is placed within the human soul before we even come into existence in this world. And the reference they give in regards to this is the verse in the Quran where Allah says that he brought us forth from the loins of Adam, and He asked, "Am I not your Rabb? Am I not your Lord?" And we testified at that point, and this is in a spiritual state before we come into existence in this world, and we said, "Yes, indeed, you are our Lord." And the scholars say that it was at that moment that this reality, at least this aspect of the fitrah, that Allah is our Rabb, was injected or embedded within the human soul itself. Now, based on this particular verse, they elaborate further and they say, because Allah uses the word Rabb here, that He asked us, "Am I not your Rabb?" Not just am I not your creator, but your Rabb specifically. And the word Rabb, we know means creator, maintainer, sustainer, provider, and all of these other meanings as well. He's the one that takes care of us and nurtures us and so on. So all of this knowing or this knowledge or information is also a part of the fitrah. So the fitrah recognizes that it has a creator, but the creator is not only just the one that created everything, but is the one that sustains and maintains everything, the one that's in control of everything. So that notion or that aspect of the fitrah, when it comes to the belief in Allah, if you like, is we can find references to this in the Quran. Now, there's other places in the Quran also, in Surah Shams, for example, where Allah speaks about the soul and how how Allah inspired the soul with a base understanding of good and bad, right and wrong. So this is where we get the notion that this base understanding that we see expressed amongst human beings of an understanding of what's good and bad and what's right and wrong is also a part of the fitrah. Now, it's not a comprehensive understanding, but it's like a baseline understanding of right and wrong, what's good and what's bad. So that we find in Surah Shams. There's others that have mentioned that there's other aspects to the fitrah as well. So, for example, Sheikh Fahd mentions the aspect of an appreciation for beauty, because he goes further to articulate that beauty, the appreciation of something like a beautiful sunset, for example, it's not really a rational thing. It's more of a subjective inner experience, as opposed to something you rationalize, right? So the notion of beauty itself. Now, as far as the references to this, I can't think of anything top of my head, but I'm sure when he comes on later, he'll share something with us, inshallah, in regards to that. But from a dawah perspective, this is why when we teach it in our dawah training course, when we do the dawah training course, we always cover the fitrah. We always focus in on the aspect of the belief in Allah, knowing that we have a creator, because that's what's relevant. As far as the moral aspects of it, the knowing of right and wrong, all of these things are interesting and something we can study further. But from a dawah perspective, I think the most important thing is to recognize that the fitrah, that there is an innate knowing or innate knowledge of one's creator already embedded within the human being. And what's really interesting, bro, is if you look at Western history as well, you would see that up until very recently, the past couple of centuries, the notion that the human being was born with innate knowledge or an essence was already there. Plato, Aristotle, these guys speak about it hundreds, thousands of years ago. They've spoken about this. It was only recently, during the period of the Enlightenment, you had people like John Locke and other Enlightenment and post-Enlightenment thinkers who changed that whole notion. And they introduced this idea of the human being a blank slate. So we're born a blank slate. And then we
Yes,
learn, yeah,
tabla rasa.
tabula rasa, exactly.
Yeah, they came
And
with that.
it's
Go
interesting
ahead.
why they did that. If you think about why would they do this? Why, when humanity from the very beginning, from people from different cultures, different traditions, different philosophies, have always recognized that the human being, the human soul, has this innate essence. It has it knows there's this knowing that the human's born with. Why only in the past couple of hundred years would these guys flip the script and change that whole notion? Well, because if you think about it, it's in line with the empirical worldview, the materialist worldview. Because once they say there is no innate knowledge, you're born a blank slate, And then they say, well, after that, you're a blank slate and you gain knowledge through experience, through your senses. Well, okay, now we can easily introduce the idea of science to them. What does science do? It works with your senses. You use your senses, you take in observations, and then you reason upon them, and then you gain knowledge. That's what they say. And essentially, what they're saying based on this is the only real knowledge one could have or attain is knowledge which is gained via empiricism, right? So using your senses, observing the physical world, and gaining knowledge about it. So the notion that you're a blank slate, the tabula rasa, it goes hand in hand with this whole push towards materialism and empiricism itself. So it favored them, and you saw they had all these ideas that they constructed and made work together and to push this sort of new modern materialist worldview. But if you look historically, every tradition, bro, if you look at any world religion as well, there's always a notion that the soul has this essence, this knowing about certain things. The human's born with certain knowledge. I think even was it Plato or Aristotle? They even spoke about mathematical knowledge, that it's already embedded within. It's a part of the human essence. And one of his, I think it's called Mimo or Mino, one of his plays that he writes, and he in that play, it's very interesting because he has this discussion with this young boy who asks him a mathematical question, and he doesn't give him any answers. He just asks him questions which trigger the answers from within the boy itself. So he uses this as an example to highlight, oh look, mathematical knowledge is innate. Now, from an Islamic perspective, I don't know. Allah knows best. Can we say mathematical knowledge is innate or fitri? Allah knows best. It's something we can speculate more or
Right.
less.
The reason I asked because I really want to give Sapiens Institute credit, but I think the concept of the fitra, we as Muslims need to understand it more and dig into it more because I honestly believe, to make it short, with the modern onslaught
Yeah,
against religiosity, I think the fitra is one of the strongest concepts when it's argued correctly. Because
absolutely.
when you argue anything else, a person can always bring some human doubt. It's like, for instance, you can always argue the things from 1,000 years ago. We can't always prove it by modern means. And then we get into epistemology. What is sufficient proof? But I think the concept of fitra, if argued right, goes beyond it. And that's why I asked the question. I'm just trying to explore it more as to how far can we go with this and what supports it. Because for me, brother, honestly, it was one of the most powerful concepts that brought me to Islam.
Wow, mashallah. That's profound, bro. And you're absolutely right. See, Sheikh Fadl refers to this as there's the irrational level, and then there's the rational level, and then there's the supra-rational, which is beyond rationality. And it's innate. It's basically what we start with. We say there's this innate knowledge, and I think the historical argument is a very powerful one as well, to show people that look, it's only a recent phenomenon that people have denied innate knowledge, right? That the human is born with innate knowledge. Uh, Prior to this, everyone acknowledged some form of innate knowledge, right? And if you look at it from a non-Islamic perspective, even amongst secular Western philosophy, bro, there is the idea of presuppositions or basic beliefs, as they call them, right? So there are those concepts and ideas which are beyond rationality. You can't rationalize them, you can't prove them, right? So, and every field of knowledge has this. So, for example, science. If you look at the scientific method, if you look at the philosophy of science, there are certain presuppositions of science that science itself can't prove. Or you can't rationally, scientifically, empirically prove those things. Yet you have to acknowledge them to do science, right? So this notion of innate knowledge or basic beliefs or presuppositions, axioms is already there, even amongst Western philosophy, right? And you're right, absolutely right, bro. When it comes to rational discourse, bro, philosophical discourse or arguments, right, for and against God. See, look, when it comes to rational arguments, bro, anyone that's equipped with the tools and is sharp enough can find a way of logically, right, purely through the use of logic, deconstruct these ideas to some degree, right?
Yes,
But but the fitra, it's like you said, it's something that lies beyond that that space. It's the super rational, and you can't deny this. It's like you can't deny an assumption or an axiom of science. In the same way, you can't
yes.
deny the axiom of the human being, as Islam teaches us. So it's a very powerful, and I think we can show this as well to some degree, experientially to people. Because sometimes with people, when you just discuss these things, it's very hard for them to grasp. Sometimes you have to show them and give them an example, right? So one powerful example that we use sometimes, like a thought experiment, if you like, to really get people to understand this concept, is saying, look, I want you to clear your mind for a second, and I'm going to ask you to think about a specific thing. And as soon as you've done it, put your hand up, right? So we frame them like this, and we say, okay, if you're ready, think about your favorite childhood toy or your best friend in childhood, right? And as soon as that person or that toy comes to mind, just put your hand up, right? Everyone could think of something. Everyone had toys, hopefully, right? Now, I say, okay, here's what's interesting. Prior to me triggering you and asking you that question, you probably didn't think about that person or that toy for decades. You had no recollection of it. It was deep inside you, but you had no conscious recollection of it, right? It was almost like if it didn't exist. But as soon as I triggered you with the right question, those thoughts about that thing, those memories, those feelings all came erupting out. They came straight back to you, right? And if I asked you, was that a reality for you? Did you experience that thing? Did you have emotions attached to that thing? All of those things will be true for you, right? So, and you know that's an absolute truth. However, prior to me asking the question, you had no recollection of it, right? So the fitra is similar in some ways. It's a deep knowing within the soul. Now, where the fitra is located, is it a part of the qalb, the spiritual heart? Is it a part of the soul? Allah knows best, right? But it's there within the human self, right? And it's there and it's just dormant. It's covered, it's clouded, it's dormant. Most people out there today are not aware of it. It takes the right type of questioning to trigger the fitra. And this is why in our dawah training course, bro, we say, look, there's no one size that fits all. Every human being is different. Everyone comes from a different background. Some people are more philosophically inclined. Some people are more empirically or scientifically inclined. Some people are more poetic. Some people are more, they're deeper thinkers. Some people are just lazy, right? Everyone's different. Now, what you have to do is you have to find, and this is why in the dawah, you have to learn about the person before you give them dawah. It's very important to do this because you can't just say, I've learned a method in the dawah and now I'm going to go throw this on every single person I see. It's not going to work. It's good to get to know the person, right? Who are they? What's their background? What are they into? And then you can give them the right type of dawah, which will trigger their fitrah and awaken their fitrah. Now, the Quran is profound from this perspective. If we understand what we just discussed, the ayat of the Quran, right, they are signs and they go deep inside and awaken the fitrah. They trigger the fitrah. They pull at those chords basically. And this is why many non-Muslims, bro, I'm sure you've had these experiences as well. It's not someone speaking to them about Islam, it's them picking up the Quran, reading it, and something suddenly hits them deep inside, and at that moment they know it's the truth, right? And normally it's not a rational verse because there's very few rational arguments in the Quran. There's a couple, but there's very
You
few.
know, and that's what, believe it or not, that's the interesting thing. Like I mentioned in my experience, it's you. We often think in this day and time that it's the rational arguments that gets people. I'm starting to doubt that because the thing about science is we become so accomplished and so arrogant with our thought of accomplishments. A person can continue to argue forever. But if it's
Absolutely.
like you said, if it's something they feel which is internal, once they're convinced of it, there is no disproving that because it's an experience. It would be like me trying to tell you that you don't like tea. What
Yeah.
evidence can I bring to you to say you like or don't like tea? It's
Mhm.
impossible because it's your experience.
Yeah.
And that's long story short, that's kind of where my interest lies. And I'm going to keep following Sapiens Institute because I think you guys are doing great work in that area.
No, Jazakallah khair, bro. May Allah bless you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts, bro. Jazakallah for bringing this up because it's the topic
Barakallah.
tonight as well. And may Allah bless you. Got us off to a good start, man. Jazakallah khair, bro.
Wa yakum.
Jazakallah. Take care, bro. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Jazakallah khair, bro. We're gonna go to brother Daman's in a second, inshallah. But just before we do that, brothers and sisters, please share the stream, inshallah. We're talking about the Fitrah tonight. We are also looking for 60 defenders tonight, inshallah, to help support the work at Sapiens. We're looking for 60 people to give £10 a month, inshallah. That's 35 pence a day to support the amazing work that's going on at Sapiens Institute, inshallah. Walaikum salam to everyone. Walaikum salam, Damans. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry. You're on, bro. Assalamu alaikum. I think you're frozen. Brother Demands, I don't know if you can hear me. If you can, your stream has frozen. So I'm going to remove you from it for now. As soon as you come back on, we'll add you back on, inshallah. So let's go to the Walaikum Salam, A Ala, Deen, Dawa. Hope you're well. Oh, Tariq Gard, Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? Oh, mashallah. Okay, sorry, bro. You're speaking to someone else in the chat. I'm eating potato and grilled cod fish. Mashallah, very healthy. Ragnar for Ramadan. Inshallah. Our demands is back on. Okay, so let's see if we can get them back on now. Assalamu
Hello
alaikum.
again. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hi. How are you, bro? You okay?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Yourself?
Good, good. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Just saw you streaming, and I thought it's an interesting question regarding the Fitra and dying to believe. I was wondering if you could give me a bit more information on that, please.
Yeah, so the fitrah we've been speaking about, bro, about the innate disposition or the natural sort of disposition of a human being.
Hmm.
That Islam teaches us about. And Dying to Believe basically is the title of a book that I'm working on currently, which
Okay.
should be out soon, inshallah, which sort of covers my journey from disbelief to Islam.
I thought you always believed.
No, 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 no. There was decades up until my early 20s. Like I was born into a Muslim family, but
Hmm.
brought up in a very sort of secular way. So yeah, there was a point, there's a long period of my life where I was not wouldn't consider myself a believer. I wasn't even interested in the question of God, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you recognize me, but we went to school together. You
No
were,
way.
yeah, it's the man.
Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Featherstone. I don't know if I should have said that, but
Demands. Okay, yeah, bro, I think so.
that's
I
okay.
think I can remember.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, but you always seemed like such a nice guy back then. It seemed like you were pretty much on the path without even being on the path, which is nice. No, it's good that you found it though. So, in regards to the Fitra, so you say it's about knowing what God, knowing physical things, knowing about spirituality. In what regard is it knowing?
So the fitrah covers a couple of things, bro. So,
Mm,
for example, the main thing we're talking about is the belief or the knowing that there is a creator,
mhm,
there is someone or something that made me, that created me, that sustains me, that I need to worship because it's human nature to worship. We always want to worship or submit to something or the other anyway.
mhm,
So
mhm,
that again, it's a part of our nature. Also, we a base understanding of right and wrong. As I was mentioning to the brother in the Quran, in Surah Shams, there is a verse where God says that he has taught or put within the soul a base understanding of right and wrong.
mhm,
So there's a basic understanding of good and bad within the human soul as well. Some other people have gone further and said the appreciation for beauty
mhm,
is something that's also sort of innate and within the human self or the soul itself.
mhm,
So there's a couple of things, but I think the main thing we were speaking with the brother prior that came on earlier was this notion of how important it is to sort of bring that to the discussion today because we live in such a world that's focused on the empirical side of reality and
mhm.
seeing is believing and considers that to be the main form of knowledge. That there are other routes to knowledge,
What
and
other
therefore
routes?
the fifth.
Sorry.
So, for example, testimony is one route to knowledge, another
Mm,
route to knowledge, right? That's something big in history.
mhm,
So you need a lot of historians base their work on the testimony of previous history. Even in science itself, what something most people don't recognize is when you study the philosophy of science that there's a big aspect of testimony that's involved in the development of science itself,
mhm,
meaning that the scientists today go by the testimony of the work of the scientists that were prior to them, that lived before them.
mhm.
And that's necessary. Without that, you're almost starting from scratch over and over again.
Yeah.
So there's testimony, there's philosophy or reasoning, right? You
Mhm,
can say, which is not empirical. Then obviously you have the empirical method itself, and then from an Islamic perspective, we say there's also the fitrah, which is an innate knowledge, which is
mhm.
placed within the human being. So
But
yeah,
you
those
said
are
it was
three or four.
clouded, right? You said it gets
It
clouded
could,
as you
yeah,
get older.
it could be clouded, it could be covered, it could be dormant, whichever
Mhm,
words you want to use. But
mhm,
it's sort of there within the human self, but
mhm.
based on our upbringing, our environment, the things we engage with as we grow up, these things may cover a cloud, that fitra, that knowing inside.
What about personal experience?
Yeah, so that's interesting you mentioned that, bro, because currently I'm doing a module, or for my dissertation, I'm looking into they call it religious experience in academia.
Okay.
But you can say personal experience, or even sometimes if people have weird experiences, anomalous experiences,
Mm,
spiritual experiences, you can say as well. I would say that they do transcend the rational.
Yeah.
because they are a part of the supra rational. Now, are they a part of the fitra itself? Possibly, because we are experiencing them through our consciousness and our awareness as human beings. Now, I say consciousness, but depending on how you want to see it, some would say that the consciousness itself is that soul that's aware. So I would definitely say it's beyond the rational. Experiences are definitely beyond the rational.
Yeah, because I personally think that experiences are like reigniting the fire. It's like it might have, in your analogy, the Fitrah might have been a fire at the beginning when you were born, and it's gone down to an ember, and then when you have that personal experience, it's like a gush of wind blowing on it, and it just
Wow.
erupts again.
That's a very poetic way of looking at it, bro. It's a beautiful way of putting it, man.
I like
Honestly,
camping.
that's a very nice analogy, bro. Yeah, it's like the internal flame that's there, and it does, and you notice it amongst a lot of people at some point in their life. They're living their lives, they're doing whatever they're doing, they're enjoying themselves. The hedonistic type of lifestyle
Yeah,
these days.
yeah.
Just have fun, enjoy yourself, do what you want. But at some point, there's something that triggers them deep down. They know something isn't right. They need to be doing something more. There's something more to this all, life and existence and all of these things. And I think that in itself is a blessing from God, that He's placed this sort of, you can say, a beacon within us, or an alarm system which goes off when you go too far off track, basically, right? Just to help us come back online. And you notice this amongst people. Everyone goes on a journey throughout their life, at some point at least. Some
Life is
people
the
earlier,
journey.
some people later.
Life is the journey. It's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Man. Bro, I'm still trying to figure it out, because
I'll give you my full name.
names. There's two names. I think I know, bro. Is it Damanjeet?
Yeah.
Yes, bro. I remember, man. Oh man, I remember some of the stuff we used to do get up to back in school. How are you, bro? You
I
okay?
don't think any of it was that bad, was it?
No, we were a bit weird, bro. We
Yeah.
used to go into cemeteries and take we did some experiments with some cameras and stuff, some crazy stuff, man.
Oh
Back in the
yeah. Oh my god, I completely. Yeah, we were trying to catch.
Yeah, I remember, man.
Yeah. Oh wow, that was a very long time ago. Wow.
Yeah, long time ago, man.
I remembered more the class things and the going to the library afterwards, but yeah, I remember doing that as well.
Yeah, we were like the oddballs in some ways, man.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
good to be
even
the
back
oddball.
then.
It's good to be the
Yeah,
oddball.
of course, man.
You don't want to be like you just said, like everyone else going down the hedonistic lifestyle. Because
Yeah.
if you're an oddball, you kind of create your own identity and you start doing your own thing and trying to find your own path rather than following the path everyone else is following.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good thing. So, in regards to the dying to believe, are you looking to expand on that a little bit? I know it's the book you're writing, but expanding on the title itself.
Yeah, sure, bro. I could do it, because I was going to talk about it at some point anyway today.
Sweet.
So I guess it's a good segue. So basically, it's a book. What inspired it basically was a couple of years ago. I saw, because some of these atheist academics, well, not academics, atheist popularizers like Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, these guys.
Yeah.
They've written a lot of books over the past couple of years. And what I noticed was Dawkins changed his style recently, in one of his previous books, which was Outgrowing God. And when I went through that book, what I found really interesting was there was no references in it, and it was almost read like a story, basically. So he was trying to appeal more to the general masses. And I thought, you know what, we don't have a book like that, And I thought, okay, well, I have an experience. Why don't I just write about my life experience in a book, and just share
Story form
my
again.
journey? Exactly, story form again, almost like
Yeah.
a personal biography slash story type book, sharing my journey. So that's what that is, and that type of genre didn't exist within the Islamic Dawah literature. It's not there. We have some good academic books now, but we don't have anything in that type of genre, that type of story type format. So that was the sort of thinking behind it, and that's why I decided to do that.
Something relatable, something to inspire. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, something someone could connect with, because I'm sure
Exactly.
many people have the experiences I had, because there was a long period, bro, where I went through a really low phase, and you can classify it as a depression or an existential crisis. So just my experience of that, what I went through, what the answers, where I looked for the answers, and for me mainly it was about the like I said, the existential crisis, which was, well, why do I exist? What is this life all about? What am I doing here? Where am I going? Why do anything? Why wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and go work? Aren't these just ideas people have told me that I've grown up thinking? Just watching people around me do those things and just following along. So I was troubled by these things for many years, bro. And I think let me think back, bro. I think it started in high school, to be honest, bro. But I didn't
Okay.
mention it to anyone. Yeah, I didn't mention it to anyone. And then it lasted till up to my 20s, bro, early 20s, 21.
Hmm.
So that's quite a long stretch, bro, about a decade or so. Maybe a bit less. So yeah, it was just that journey. So I just share that journey in the book itself.
And you
And
found your answers.
existentialism,
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely, bro. Alhamdulillah, like we say, thanks, all praises due to God. I found my answers, but it was a difficult road and a journey, like I said, man. And that's what got me really interested into the existential stuff and the existentialist philosophers and the meaning of life and all of this type of stuff. That's what I focused on over the past couple of years. So yeah, man, that's what the book is about.
Okay. The best things don't come easy. The best things never come easy. And something I'd like to say is, like, you don't know hot until you know cold. You have to have
Yeah.
the lows to know the highs and appreciate the highs for what they are. So when you do
Yeah.
finally reconnect with God and stuff, it's that's that much sweeter than just being born into this kind of belief system, because then you're always thinking about why can't I be like everyone else? When you go from the lows to the highs, it's much more powerful.
Yeah, because when the ego experiences the low, because in the ego, bro, human beings, when we have a lot, we become deluded and distracted by lifeline and the good things in life, right? It's only when the ego is broken and is smashed to pieces and you're rock bottom, that's when it's like when you're in a desert, bro, without any water and you're thirsty and you're dying, right?
Mm.
And you get that sip of water. You
Tastes
appreciate that like you've never ever appreciated water before,
like
So that's the
liquid
state of.
gold. Yeah.
Exactly, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's life, literally, at that point.
Yeah.
So when you're in that existential space where you're spiritually and psychologically just dying, dead,
Mm.
and you get that ray of hope and that, uh, the answers, that knowledge, that information, the way you appreciate and understand it, then it's not like when you're comfortable and everything is good,
Yeah. Amazing.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna share my number with you in the private chat, yeah? Let's catch up,
Awesome.
man.
Yeah, definitely. Just before you go, I just wanted to give one bit of advice, which is slipping my mind. Oh yes, I remember it. One bit of advice in order to reignite the Fitra is appreciate. Like you just said with the desert analogy, only when you really truly appreciate everything God has given us, that's when you start getting that reignition
Reignition,
of
yeah.
reignition of the
It's
soul.
one of those.
Yeah. Because I think, like you said, we take a lot of things for granted. When we've got water on tap, literally, when we've got food at the supermarkets ready to go, when we eat, we're thinking, oh yeah, this is great tasting, thanks God for giving me great food because it tastes great. But we forget about, hey, it took farmers to grow this, it took people to transport it, it took people to put it on the shelves, people to sell it, and don't forget the light that came from the sun to allow it to grow. Like, there's so much in this system that we just don't appreciate because it's all kind of like quick living, that we just stuff our faces and move on. So yeah, appreciation is what I would share as a lesson in regards to
No,
Fitra.
that's a powerful one, bro. So thank you for sharing that.
No,
That,
no worries.
because it reminds me of there's an amazing story in the 18th chapter of the Quran where God speaks about two gardeners,
Mhm.
and one of the gardeners, they're both friends. One of them has a lot of wealth. He has these amazing gardens and date palms and everything, and the other one has some stuff, but not as much.
Mhm.
And the one that's really wealthy becomes very deluded at a point, and he says, "You know what? I don't think this is ever going to be taken away from me. I have much more than you. I've been blessed. And he's like, even if the day of judgment comes, which I don't think is going to come, I think God's going to give me even more because He loves me so much." And he just becomes really deluded.
Yeah.
And his friend keeps telling him, "Look, don't lose gratitude. Don't forget where you got all of this from, where it all came from." But he doesn't understand because that delusion's become too much. And what it
Mm.
takes is for everything to be taken away from him. And then he realizes,
Yeah.
after if it's taken away from him. And unfortunately, most of us, we fall into this, isn't it, bro? It's like
Very easily done. Very
it's
easily
like
done.
sometimes God needs to break us for us to, fix
For
up.
him to build us back up.
Yeah. If we can
Because
only fix ourselves without going through that trial, man, But that's the
no,
challenge, isn't it, bro?
but then it wouldn't be so great. It wouldn't be so sweet.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you spending time talking to me. I will have a look
Likewise,
through
man.
the number. I have been
Yeah,
watching a few
it's in the private chat.
videos. I have been watching a few of your videos, and I like what you're saying. I like your style, and yeah, hopefully we could have another chat in the future.
Yeah, definitely, bro. You brought back memories, man. I was giving, I was giving an
It to me
example
as
of
well.
literally, bro. I tell you, this is the last thing. I just before you, the guy that came on, I gave him an example of the Fitra. I said to give people an appreciation of the Fitra, ask them to quickly think of their childhood friend or their favorite toy. I mean, who writes the script, bro? This is honestly,
He writes the script. He writes the script.
absolutely, bro.
Everything maktub.
Yeah, and literally right after that, you come on and like childhood friend, crazy man. It's just the way things work. Subhanallah, it's crazy, man. Anyway, bro, I'm gonna get on with it. I'm gonna go to the next brother. He's been waiting
No worries, no worries. I
on the
appreciate you.
stream. But take my number, bro.
I,
Drop me a message. We'll catch up.
I will do, man. Take it easy, man. Stay safe.
Take it down. Take it.
Bye bye.
Okay, brothers and sisters, subhanallah. It's amazing how Allah works sometimes. It's absolutely amazing, man. I was literally giving the example of the Fitra. Oh, Nadim's on. Nadim, listen, bro. Please jump on. It'd be good to have a chat with you. I'm feeling really lonely on the stream tonight, so please jump on, bro. Yeah, Nadim Ashraf. But yes, subhanallah, and Allah gave me a direct example, literally right after I presented the example. He was a brilliant guy. We used to spend a lot of time together in school. Hopefully, we'll catch back up, inshallah. Rafai, let's go to Rafai.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Wa
So yeah, I've been thinking about sorry, the Fitra a lot lately, and I guess one perspective that's really interested me was from a sort of historical perspective. I've been watching the videos with Jerry Kaufman to do with like Tawheed arising in different cultures at different times, and I think that's really cool. And I was wondering like if there's any good resources to go and look into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so you mentioned one of the good sources, brother Jerry. Jerry's done some phenomenal work on the history of monotheism. Brilliant work on it. Because the interesting thing is, and he noticed this problem, when you look at, sorry, give me a second. When you look at the sort of history of religion and beliefs, according to, well, go to Amazon and pick up any book. Most of the books, bro, I would say even 90% of the books that are there, they give one aspect of that history. And because remember, it's the history of religion, and all of these histories in most cases are tied in with the history of human evolution. And there's a whole sociological reason behind this as well as to why everything's being attached to the theory of evolution. But we don't need to get into that right now. But you'll see that every sphere of knowledge, they try to tie it in with this notion of human development and evolution. So when you look at most of these histories on religion and beliefs, you would see that what they're presenting is a model where humans were initially animists. They believed in like the soul of the sky and the soul of the river. Then they believed in different deities, so believed in the many gods. And then eventually over time, as humans became more sophisticated, they whittled it down to sort of the idea of monotheism. That's the notion they present. So it goes like this: many gods, many beliefs in spiritual creatures and beings, all the way to monotheism. That's the sort of direction they show you, and that's what we're being taught. However, if you look at if you do your own research and go into the books, you would see, and Jerry's done this, and I think he's writing a book on this as well, mashallah. And I think he has some videos online. By the way, I have on the Epistemics channel. There is I think 3 or 4 videos that I've done with Jerry, where we cover this, and he goes into the academics researching, I think, the native Indians as one example, and how this is going way back when they said that people believed in the spirits of the sky and so on. He showed that these natives they had monotheistic beliefs. They believed in a higher being, a higher power, one creator, one cause. So it's very interesting. His work is very interesting on this, inshallah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And there's this YouTube channel, it's called Proving Islam, and he like cataloged a bunch of these videos and put it in like a few multiple hour long videos. So yeah, I think you'd be able to find it. Some of your videos, and also there's one where he was with Sabur Ahmed. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. But thank you for like explaining that.
No, thank you, Rafi, for bringing it up, bro. It's a good point, very important. Because remember, these things are important. We don't remember. Hamza said this many times. It's an ideological battle. It always has been. It always starts with the ideologies, and then they trickle down into the social sphere and people act upon them and believe what they believe. Most people believe what they believe today in the world, in the Western world, especially in the Western world, but everywhere today. But most people are atheists today, or agnostic, or don't believe in God, don't believe in spirituality, believe in science, believe in all these things, not because they have rational reasons to believe in those things. They believe in those things because we've been indoctrinated to believe in those things based on, because whenever people try accessing knowledge, that's what they have access to. And these books, in many cases, are not necessarily giving you the objective truth about reality. They're giving you a truth that they want you to believe. That's why I highlight clearly that many times, many of these histories that we read, or books on anthropology, etc., you would see that they are written in a way so that they are in line with the theory of evolution itself, right? So that all of these things support each other and make one comprehensive whole, or that's what they're trying to make. But I don't think it's, I think we need to make the effort to really go to the sources and do the research, inshallah. But Jazakallah khair, bro. May Allah bless you. Nadeem Bhai, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Nadeem Ashraf?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How you doing, bro?
So, bro, first thing, before you do this, I'm going to get beaten up for this because I haven't mentioned again. Main thing we're doing tonight is we're looking for defenders, brothers and sisters. I haven't said it in a while now. If you've just joined us, we're looking for 60 defenders, brothers and sisters. That's 60 people to give £10 a month to Sapiens. You can see the link at the bottom, sapiensinstitute.org/defenders. There's some amazing work that's already happened in the past 4 years. We have a lot of amazing work planned this year, but we need your support to do this. We need your support to carry on this amazing work, which includes the Lighthouse Mentoring, where we're helping Muslims with doubts on the verge of leaving Islam that may have already left Islam. It covers also the online learning platform, which is free for you guys with comprehensive academic courses, 16 plus courses on there. It covers the publications. We have 16 publications that we need to continue to print and publish. And there's more we're working on writing right now as well. And it goes towards all of the other work that we're doing across the world as far as developing leaders and organizations, etc. Inshallah. So please support this work. Go to sapiensinstitute.org/defenders and give £10 a month, inshallah. Yes, Nadeem Bhai, sorry to keep you holding you off.
That's all right. How's it going? All right?
Alhamdulillah, bro.
I saw
Jazakallah for
you-
coming, bro.
I saw your message and I just looked at YouTube and I saw a live. Where's the crew? Where's the team?
Everyone's busy today, bro. They're running around, so they're gonna come. Some of them are gonna come, inshallah. I think Dr. Uthman is coming. I think brother Yusuf Pondas is coming as well, inshallah. But yeah, man. So, but I've got you now, so alhamdulillah.
I might see Dr. Uthman tomorrow. I might be going to Slough. We're going to do a stall there, inshallah. And yeah, and you know what? Again, what's Ajib? The topic is beautiful because when we go out outreach, when we do a stall, as you know, my work is on the stalls and street out. Sorry, my voice is a bit coarse. Yeah, I've been speaking a lot all day.
Sounds nice. Bro. Sounds husky.
Yeah. Okay. So when there's always, mashallah, a new bunch of brothers that Allah gives us part of the team. It's always revolving door. It has its pluses, has its negative. But anyway, these young brothers, and one of the things I really push upon the training is the fitrah, because everybody wants to, you know, when they come into dawah, especially young brothers, they want to argue, right? They want to debate, they want to argue, they want to use rationality and all these different arguments, logical arguments. But I come down with the whole fitrah thing, and some of them are like, what? What's that? You know, subhanAllah. So, you know, I'll be doing that tomorrow as well, inshallah, a briefing before we go to the stall. And it's a topic that there should be spoke about much more than it is. So, alhamdulillah, good topic.
Oh, we need the courage to speak about this topic.
Yeah.
Because look, all of the pressure, all of the beliefs today, everyone will tell you, innate belief, innate knowledge, nonsense. There's no such thing. You're a blank slate when you're born. You have no knowledge, no information. And then you learn or you gain knowledge through your experience of the world, you know, through your interaction with the world, through your senses, etc., through your reasoning. That's how you gain knowledge. But Allah is telling us that no, there is the fitrah, there is this essence, this nature of this disposition that's you're born with, that Allah is your Rabb, that He is your creator, that you were created to worship Him. This is there, it's embedded within us. Yes, it becomes covered and clouded, but it's there. So we're not born blank slates, right? There's information already within us when we're born. Now, what's very interesting is, I was mentioning this to the brother earlier, is that it's not only something that the Muslims have said. about being born with innate knowledge. If you look at most other traditions and cultures throughout history, they've all Aristotle. Look at Western philosophers.
Mm.
They what do you call them?
The ulama.
Ancestors.
Yeah.
The ulama, Aristotle, Plato. They recognized that there's this essence. Humans are born. Yeah, they may have had a different notion of it,
Yeah.
but that there's an essence. We're born with an essence. You know, an essence is, for example, the bottle's essence is to hold water, right? So that's the essence of the bottle. There's an essence of the human being that he's born with. Now, again, similar in some ways to what we're saying in regards to the fitrah, maybe not exactly the same, because we have a knowing. There's an innate knowing of our creator. There's an essence in regards to why we were created, which is to worship Allah, right? So this essence to worship is there as well. But it's only recently, past couple of 100 years, they said, no, blank slate, you learn through your experience, you know? And therefore, by saying this, they made experience valuable, right? And as soon as you make experience valuable, okay, how do I gain the experience? We have science, this beautiful method. Use this. This is the best method. And you know what's funny? Science is a brilliant method, absolutely, bro. But I've been going through a book recently. What's it called? The Science Rupert Sheldrake, The Science Delusion. I think it's called The Science Delusion, revised edition by Rupert Sheldrake. I'm going to do a review on that book. Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf. How are you, bro? You okay?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
No, all good, bro. We had some good conversations, man. We had some good people, brothers and sisters, jump on. One of my high school friends jumped on, man. I hadn't seen him for over a decade, man. More than a decade and a half, probably longer, 2 decades. So I couldn't recognize him first, but then I sort of figured out. And we had a good chat, man, about the Fitrah. It was really nice, man. Really nice, inshallah. But yeah, the Rupert Sheldrake book, I'll do a review on that, but I'll shut up about that now, inshallah. We got Yusuf, let's join
There's a question, bro. It came up. Yeah, assalamu alaikum, Yusuf. How you doing, bro? You all right?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm good, Nadeem. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good to see you, man. The question came up, I think, in one of the training. Intuition. Is it Fitrah? Would you call it intuition, or is that slightly different? Because intuition can be applied to anything, right? I don't know if you've had this question, or how would you tackle that if they say it's the same as intuition?
When it comes to the Fitrah, bro, there's very little we know from a purely Islamic perspective. I can't comment from that perspective, right? But I will speculate. But before I do that, what's important is, look, Islam tells us that the Fitrah is there. Every child is born upon the Fitrah. And the Fitrah contains the knowledge that Allah exists, that He is our creator, that we were created to worship Him. This reality is dormant within every human being. Yes, Allah also alludes to the fact that in Surah Shams that He created the soul and He embedded within it the notion of right and wrong, good and bad. So we can say maybe Allah knows best that a part of the Fitrah is to recognize this innate knowing of good and bad. And we see this expressed by even atheists today, right? They won't be able to justify good and bad, but they'll know something is good and bad, the same amongst us. So that notion is there. Sheikh Fahd speaks about the appreciation of beauty and things like this, right? Experience, right? Now, when it comes to intuition, I can't say, I don't know, Allah knows best from an Islamic perspective. Maybe I haven't read into it, looked into it that much, but if I was to speculate on it, when we say intuition, we're saying this type of knowing before something happens, or the knowing of what the right or wrong thing to do in a certain situation is. I think it may not be directly be a part of the Fitrah, but one can say it's somehow linked to it, because if a part of the Fitrah is to recognize a base understanding of right and wrong, that we have this sense within us, and intuition, we're talking about intuition when it comes to being intuitive regarding a certain action, whether it's good or bad, etc., then it could be linked to that, I guess. But I don't know. Allah knows best, man. Maybe
interesting. So I'd say, is there not a difference between intuition and your conscience? So in terms of like recognizing something as good or bad, like the English word would probably be more befitting of the idea of a conscience.
Yeah, you're right.
And intuition is more of like a hunch about
knowing.
Like information.
Not knowing, but hunch.
It's sort of amoral. It's like I have this intuition. This person's up to something, or I've got this
feeling. I've got this feeling, a deep feeling.
So the intuition may work alongside a knowing of good and bad and right and wrong. So for example, when you have that intuition, you would only then act upon it based on your understanding of good and bad, right and wrong. So I have this intuition that this brother's up to no good, therefore I'm going to avoid him. So you know that I'm going to avoid him is coming from that notion of good and bad, right and wrong,
Yeah.
but the intuition itself is not directly linked to it. So yeah, I would agree with that, bro. It works with it, but
and then on
not
top of
the
that,
same thing.
So the understanding I've sort of have of the Fitrah, so Allah says in the Quran that we are all made to testify that He is our Lord and our Lord is one.
Surah.
And the way I've because there is a difference of opinion from the scholars. Some say it's like an innate knowledge, and some say it's an inclination towards Allah, or like the path towards recognizing His existence is made easy. But there's nothing to say that it can't be both as well. The way I've sort of understood it is that we've had this experience of Allah. We've had this, and there's when we were doing our trips, I met a brother there. And I knew him, but I didn't know where I knew him from. Like, I recognized his face. I was like, where do I know you from? Like, I'm sure I know you. Because I must have seen him somewhere. I must have met him somewhere. But his face was incredibly familiar. And I had this overwhelming sense that, like, I did know who he was, or I'd met him before. But he couldn't remember me. I couldn't remember him. And I couldn't shake the feeling. Like, I was so certain of it. And if that is motivated by a prior experience, I guess this could be to some degree what maybe the Fitrah is. You've had this experience of Allah. You've even testified that He's your Lord. You know this because you've got this first-hand pre-bodily experience or pre-birth experience. But then you're put into a body, and there's an essence of sort of forgetting to some degree that you've had that experience. But the notion or the underlying point of it sort of remains in you. And I guess this is why, when you read articles like that of Paul Bloom, he talks about, and the other ones as well, there's a few different ones. They talk about these like innate recognition of certain things, regardless of your society, regardless of who raised you, where you are. Children readily believe in things like the body and the soul, life after death, a higher purpose, a higher power. All of these things come very natural to children. And that makes sense in line of the fact that we all testify that we have a Lord, that there is a higher power, that we have this recognition prior to being born. It would make sense if that is the case, that these things would be something you would see. And then, so that's kind of how I understood the Fitrah. So it's...
I fully 100% agree with you, bro. I see it the same way. And you're spot on. The brothers asking the same question: are there different understandings of the concept of Fitrah? Yes, they are. Some would say it's an inclination. Some would say it's a knowledge. But obviously, it's not the type of knowledge that once you become aware of it, it's almost like seeing a movie, because it sort of goes against the test of life itself. So even when you awaken to it, you know it, you recognize it, but it's within a certain it's a certain type of knowing. It's not the type of knowing like remembering that remembering the lunch you had yesterday and picturing it in your mind, right? It's different to that. But I think what you said, Yusuf, based on the ayah in the Quran where Allah says He brought us forth from Adam and He asked us, am I not your Rabb? And we testified, indeed you are. Many of the scholars say that it was at that moment this reality, this experience that we had with Allah was embedded within the soul. So then it became an imprint almost within the soul. Now again, how that's expressed in this world, it's not going to be as if we can now see it, like when we remember it, we can see it as it happened. But it's still a knowing. It's hard to explain. It's hard to put into words. And I guess that's the case with things that are beyond the rational anyway. Like Sheikh Fahd says, the super rational. You can't really put them into words fully or rationalize them. But it is a knowing, and it's what was the second thing you mentioned, Yusuf? You said something about
like an inclination, or like the path towards Him has been made easy. So it's like a magnetism. So you're drawn.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Drawn towards the belief in God, and you're drawn towards it. But
drawn towards the truth.
How would you categorize it, Nadeem? How would you explain the Fitrah? How do you understand it personally?
I think, look, I have to use it from a Tao point of view, and from what I've learned from the brothers and everything. By the way, one thing, this I want to clarify as well. and just understanding. Because I saw Yusuf, and that triggered my Fitrah, going back to a TAP podcast these guys did back in the days, and you guys were discussing. I think it was can God be proven rationally? I think that was the one. And in it, two of the brothers kept saying, using the Fitrah argument. And I remember from when we learned from Hamza and others, don't use it as an argument. It's more of a, like Imran was saying, it's a knowledge you get to. It's rational arguments as well as other experiences are a means to get to the Fitrah, right? To awaken the Fitrah. Whereas you brothers were discussing as an argument. So I don't know how that'd be interesting to come across in a minute, and maybe you could discuss that. But I mean, from a Dawah point of view, obviously my involvement is training brothers and sisters. And when I give an example, like when I go to the city centre, because my work is obviously grassroots, outdoors, stores. When I go out to city centres, whether it's Crawley, whether it's London, and when I see there's massive people in the town centre walking around, when I'm with the brothers, say, look, they all know Allah. That person there, that guy there, that oldie there, that little young kid, they all know it. We just need to go and awaken that. They're just asleep.
Yeah.
And so the truth is already within them. So it's already in there. We just need to awaken it. We need to trigger it. And there's various means and styles, logical arguments, experiences, talking about death, I did a session at the HS2, they're building the HS2, the high railway link in Willesden. And one of the brothers, mashallah, Jahan from Watford, he organized a session for non-Muslims. Alhamdulillah, around 45, 50 non-Muslims turned up, alhamdulillah. And I mentioned this, because you guys already know the Creator, you already know Allah. Hopefully in this next 50 minutes, maybe I can awaken some truths within you. That's the way I started. But yeah, that's the way I understand it, bro. That it's a truth within, already there. It's already pre-programmed within us as human beings. And we have either through society, through upbringing, through information transfer, we've forgotten it, we've covered it, or maybe we don't want it to be triggered sometimes. Some other people, they know the truth, as but anyway, that's a different discussion. But yeah, that's some of the things.
Yeah. I kind of see, when the atheist is like, "Where's the evidence? Where is how can you expect me to believe in God?" I kind of see them as like, the people, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? And they're on the face, or like, where it's right under their nose, it's right there, it's accessible, it's but they're sort of like for example, they go on about like, where's the miracle? Where are the signs? And it's like literally everything. All of it, everything you look at, whatever it is, there are signs in it. For me, my experience is like that. Like I see signs of Allah in pretty much everything, from bread to my phone to me to my daughter. But yeah, it's strange.
Food plays a large part in your discussion, Yusuf. I remember when you were explaining the contingency to me with voice notes. You were making some chicken or something. I don't know if you remember.
I can't remember. I sent too many voice notes.
You sent me a load of voice notes, and you kept saying, and you fiddling around with the gloves in the oven, and sorry, I'm just cooking, and so you're cooking and talking about contingency argument, and for a while I thought, is this philosophical? Is he trying to link cooking the chicken with contingency? Like, is the chicken contingent? I've got the voice notes still. So yeah, Imran, is this a fundraiser? Yeah.
Yes, bro. We're fundraising today. We're looking for 60 defenders, inshallah. Because total, we're looking for 2,000 defenders this Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, we're down to 700. So may Allah bless all the brothers and sisters. I'm sure many of them watching right now have already supported the work. That's why the donations are slow tonight. But Jazakallah khair for everyone that has supported. We're down to about 700. We need still 700 more defenders. So please do support the work. Donate if you can, inshallah. Go to sapiesinstitute.org/defenders and give £10 a month. If you can't donate, then please share this live stream. Share this on your social media platforms so more people can see it and come on, inshallah, and hear about the work and support the work, inshallah.
Smart. It's only 2 fivers a month, £2 a week. Subhanallah, that's
35 pence a day, bro. It's 35 pence a day. If you look at it, bro, honestly, isn't it the type of Nadeem, has this ever happened to you, bro? Because I know you like your jackets, yeah. You've gone into one of your old jackets and you've gone into the pocket, yeah, because you heard some shuffling coins, yeah? You're like, oh, some extra money today, yeah. You go into the pocket and you pull out like 2p, 5p, 10p, 15p, all these little coins, and you look at it, and you're like, forget this. You throw it back into the pocket, like, because it's more of a hassle carrying it around than than the benefit of it. So, and that's the type of change it is, bro. 35 pence, 35 pence is nothing. It's the type of money we spend we don't even think about. But if you give 35 pence a day to Sapiens, inshallah, that's £10 a month. That's going to go a long way for you, inshallah, in the hereafter. The rewards are going to be immense because there's amazing work that's taking place, alhamdulillah.
There's actually, there's different ways of looking at this, but one of the ways is, it's Ramadan. There's a lot of appeals out there, mashallah, involved in it and everything. But the way you look at it is this money that me, you, and Brother Yusuf has, those people who are in the comments, that money is, we're actually managers. We're not owners. We're just managing this temporal thing that Allah has given us. And what's crazy, as if you look at the hadith, which is Sahih hadith, which is if you give to charity, if you give to a good cause, Rasulullah says, when you give to charity, it never diminishes your wealth. Your wealth never decreases. So on the one hand, it's money that you don't own, you're just managing. Allah's testing you what to do with it. On the second hand, when you do give it away, you'll never be a loss. Like, there's absolutely no way of losing, and especially when you give it to a cause like this, which I believe, subhanAllah, and I'm not saying it because I know you, Imran, I know Yusuf, and because Sapiens, and this is actually from the heart. Sapiens Institute is probably the most important organization in the Dawah, or even the world right now. Every human, like the Ummah, needs this organization, subhanAllah. So if people are not thinking like that, then they're not going to be motivated. So if you're watching this now, maybe some of you watch it tomorrow if the stream is still on. Think of it like that. Sapiens needs to be supported. We need to, subhanAllah, keep this going, this machinery. When you look at those involved in Dawah, you look at, subhanAllah, what's happening with the Gaza and the machinery behind that, the people who are doing the oppression, where are they getting support from? Are they getting pennies? We're talking about 35p. We're pleading for 35p. They're getting 35 million a day probably, or something like that, right? And then you see the Christian missionaries and the machinery. It's like a juggernaut of stuff. And subhanAllah, I mean, there's one scholar, Imran, you know him, Khalil Rahman Chishti. Khalil Rahman Chishti is a very poetic scholar. He's mashallah, very unique scholar, mashallah, based in Islamabad. And we used to do fundraising with him. And when it comes to Dawah, he did the Dawah fundraising for us. And he said, look, brothers and sisters, there's humanitarian causes, there's orphanages, there's, supporting people with poverty, 100% support that. But never ever belittle the work of Dawah. And as you guys call it, defending the faith, never belittle it. In fact, he said, like in Urdu, said, I'm saying, this is actually more important, because when you give to humanitarian causes, of course, we never belittle that. Yeah, you might feed them, you might give them a house, the homeless, suffering, alleviate the suffering, fine, alhamdulillah, and we should all do that, all of us. But if someone dies upon no iman, upon kufr, then as we know, the Quran says they're going to be in severe loss, subhanAllah. So that's why this organization like Sapiens Institute, it needs to be supported. It's crazy that we're even asking for it. Or there shouldn't be an appeal. People should be pouring out. There should be a lineup. There should be people lining up to join us, pledging, £1,000, and people out there, inshallah. So yeah, I just want to say a couple of things that might motivate, inshallah, some people. But yeah, I think the first thing is to share this with your family and friends. Even Imran, even sharing, people find it hard. Like it takes a few seconds, subhanAllah.
Yeah, it literally takes a few seconds. We got 103 people tuning in right now. If everyone shares this live stream right now, we'll get more people on. And even if you can't donate tonight, if you share with the intention that someone, inshallah, comes on and makes that donation, you will get the reward of that too. That's not a small thing, brothers and sisters. Please share this on your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you use, Instagram, and let's get more people on, inshallah. But let's get back to the topic, inshallah. I think it'd be good to carry on for a little while with that. So Yusuf, let me quickly just go through any questions that let me know, Yusuf, if you notice any good questions, bro, that you want to bring up.
Yeah, so brothers and sisters,
well,
feel free
good
to
questions. I mean, there's questions that are not good questions. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, that's true.
Presupposition.
So if
I'm
you've got
assuming.
any questions you want to ask, please do ask them in the comments, inshallah.
Yeah, I'll share the
Um,
join link as well again.
Yeah,
Control.
yeah. So you're more than welcome to jump on.
I'm just sharing on my Insta.
Maybe for the meantime, what we could do is show them the website.
Yes, please bring it up.
So that they can see what it is that we're producing, inshallah.
Brothers, you
Yeah.
carry on, inshallah. That was my little bit. Imran, you got used to give you company. So Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, bro.
I'll see you
It would
again
be nice
soon.
if you stayed on, but khair, you have to go.
Rather than a long day, I've got down tomorrow stores. I've got traveling, so inshallah.
No, may Allah bless you, bro. MashaAllah,
it's good to
Nadeem,
see
by
you
the way,
guys.
before you go, Nadeem, wait, before you go, bro, Nadeem Ashraf's doing some phenomenal work, mashallah, with YC, UK YC. He's heading UK YC, mashallah. I think Yusuf didn't. He's gone.
He didn't like
Inshallah,
that.
he'll be back. He'll be back. No, it's not that he didn't like that. He just probably dropped off. Backspace Hamza. He did a backspace Hamza. But yeah, Nadeem,
okay.
the YC brothers and sisters are doing some phenomenal work, mashallah. Most of you probably already know YC Pakistan, right? Youth Club Pakistan. You got, mashallah, Zia Bhai, Taha Jalil, Ali, two Alis, mashallah. All of the brothers there are doing phenomenal work, mashallah. But Nadeem is running YC in the UK. So most of you probably aren't aware of that. He's running youth club in the UK, and he's going up and down the country, mashallah, doing this amazing work. So definitely, if I'm sure YC UK, as it's just emerging, needs support, bro. So let the brothers and sisters know where they can go and support your work, bro. If inshallah you do need support with the work, inshallah.
Yeah, no, Jazakallah khair. The best place is obviously I think I've come up as Dawah Motivation. So there's the YouTube channel, and I'm very active on Instagram, Dawah Mentoring. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, inshallah. Our work is mainly engaging with Muslim youth, and especially those youth who are non-practicing. So they could be part of gangs. They could be just having, just like Sapiens has the Lighthouse Mentoring. We obviously are doing a grassroots level. But my main passion is to build teams, build Duat as much as I can, inshallah, with the permission of Allah. So yeah, if you guys want to get involved in being part of the Dawah as well, and joining in some of the missions, you can, like I said, Dawah Motivation channel, comment one of the videos, or Dawah Mentor on Instagram. But yeah, Jazakallah khair, bro. But the biggest thing is need Dawah for the sincerity of the work, isn't it?
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you, bro. So we have a question. Islam, does Sapiens do dawah for Muslims? Yes. So look, the main focus of Sapiens, it's both. It's Muslims and non-Muslims. But many of our services are targeted specifically for Muslims, basically. So you can say Islah to Muslims or dawah to Muslims. And for example, the Lighthouse Mentoring Service is for Muslims with doubts, Muslims that have left Islam, Muslims that are on the verge of leaving Islam. And by the way, brothers and sisters, this is no small thing. I mean, if you've experienced someone in your family that's left Islam or is on the verge of leaving Islam, you know what I'm talking about. This could destroy families. It can really wreak havoc on the family structure, right? It doesn't only affect the person that's going through the doubts, it affects the family members of that person, etc. Because it's not a small thing. You know, this person may potentially leave the fold of Islam, you know, and there's nothing worse than that in this life. So Lighthouse Mentoring is specifically to help these brothers and sisters. And like I said, we have over 85% success rate with the service, meaning 85% plus people who come onto the service with doubts, who have left Islam, whatever the case may be, they come back to Islam and start practicing. So your support, your £10 a month is supporting this amazing work, inshallah. There's much needed work. The online learning platform is to train Muslims. It's for Muslims and non-Muslims. It's to educate all, but it's also to train Muslims on how to give dawah, how to deal with these ideological challenges that exist today in the world. All the courses are there for this specific purpose. The publications are there for this purpose as well. So yes, it's dawah to Muslims and non-Muslims, inshallah. So we've got Jemmy's. If you, brother or sister, if you want to just switch on your camera quickly, just so we know it's a real person, and then I'll bring you. You can switch your camera back off, and then I can bring you onto the live stream, inshallah. Just so we're on the safe side. Alhamdulillah, tonight we've been quite fortunate. We've had some good people that have come on, and I didn't even do the checks, but so Jemmy's, if you can switch your camera on back in for a second and then switch it off, and then I can put you on the stream. Or just if you don't want to do that, just okay, it's not. Yeah, okay, the cam's not working. Jimmy, why don't you just drop me a message in the private chat? Just let me know what your question is, and then I could bring you up on the screen, inshallah. So in the private chat, just drop me a little message. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can keep it off. Just let me know what your question is, brother or sister, and then I can bring you on, inshallah. If you can just write it out in like one sentence. Why did he leave? He said ask question and then he left. Now he should be on it. I think he's having a problem with his Ragnar. He's having a problem with his computer, Yusuf, tonight. So inshallah he should be back. Mr. Ponders is struggling with his computer. Okay, Jimmy. So I'm gonna take the risk. Oh, okay. Say. Okay, perfect. I'll bring you on, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, bro. Jazakallah khair. I'm good.
Yeah. So
Your question, bro, is yeah, you might as well ask it, inshallah.
yeah, I wanted to ask, what do you say for a person who doubts if the splitting of moon miracle happened or if it will happen in the last hour? Because I've searched about this and I think some scholars may differ in the opinion. And I wanted to hear you.
So if someone said to you that someone came to you and they doubted the splitting of the moon miracle, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll share a couple of things and then we'll go to Yusuf. I'm sure he'll have some stuff to say on this as well, inshallah. So the first thing is, alhamdulillah, from an Islamic perspective, we have the greatest miracle amongst us today, which is the Quran, right? And anyone can access that today. See, the thing with historical miracles, such as the miracles of Musa alayhi salam or Isa alayhi salam, we know Isa alayhi salam had many miracles. Musa alayhi salam was given many miracles, right? Previous prophets were given many miracles. But the thing with miracles of the prophets from the past is that people have to rely upon the sources. Now, one way around this to establish that the Prophet ﷺ actually did have this miracle and he split the moon is to establish the soundness of the source itself. Right? Once we can do that, then it's more reasons for them to accept it and acknowledge it. If the source is correct and this message is from Allah and the Prophet ﷺ was sent from Allah and we can prove this to them, then the Prophet ﷺ having a miracle where he splits the moon is not a problem. Because these things aren't a problem for Allah. Allah can allow for these miracles to happen through the prophets, right? So it's not an issue from that. That's the way we can address this. However, I would always, after mentioning this to them, take them to the Quran itself, because the Quran is the living miracle. We have that amongst us today. So get them to experience that, inshallah. But if they are having doubts in regards to, did the moon split? Look, what you have to highlight to them, look, once you can establish to them Allah exists, and you can show them that Allah revealed the Quran, and you can show them the Prophet ﷺ is a true prophet of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can establish these three things, which we do in our Dawah training course as well, then there is no logical problem or conceptual problem that the Prophet ﷺ had the miracle where he split the moon. It was split and then it came back together. Why? Because we believe in Allah and Allah is able to do all things. He can allow for such miracles to happen through the hands of his prophets. So it's as simple as that, bro. And it's completely internally coherent. This is the key thing. Internally, it's completely coherent. If Allah exists and Allah is all powerful and He revealed the Quran and He revealed the Prophet, peace be upon him, He sent the Prophet, peace be upon him, with the Quran, then for these miracles to take place at the hands of the Prophet is not an issue. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I see. So first show the miracles of for example, the linguistic miracle of Quran itself, and then work from that.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, because we have a miracle amongst us today. Whereas the miracles of the prophets of the past, they are there, they happened at that time in history. We can't see them anymore, we can't go experience them anymore. Alhamdulillah, from an Islamic perspective, we can establish that the Prophet, peace be upon him, was a true messenger of Allah. And therefore, we can take that route to establish that miracle happened. But the miracles of even the miracles of Isa alayhi salam and the Musa alayhi salam, we can establish because of the Quran, right? We have the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
But those outside of the Islamic tradition, they have a bigger problem. They can only claim these miracles without substantiating them, right? But we don't have that issue from an Islamic perspective. Yusuf, do you want to add anything, bro?
Yeah. So for me, just to sort of give you a bit. So just to ask, sorry, who's doubting it? Is it someone you know that's a Muslim or someone who's a non-Muslim? What's the context?
I was doubting it myself.
You was doubting yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
What is it about those things in particular that makes you doubt them?
I made some research myself, and for me it's just unclear if it happened or if it said that it will happen. And
so are you someone are you a Muslim?
no, I'm actually agnostic.
Okay, so you're agnostic.
Yeah.
And you're looking at these and you're not sure if they happened or not, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was agnostic at one point. I was an atheist before I was agnostic. And for me, I wasn't really interested in the miracles. Because as far as I'm concerned, if God exists, could he make something like that happen?
Yeah, if it's established that he's able to do such
Yeah.
thing.
Well, no, if God is the creator of all things, the determiner of the laws, the one who fashions everything, everything is dependent upon him. If he's the all-powerful, the most capable, the all-wise.
Yeah, if he's
if he's those things,
like if he has omnipotent power, then it's
possible that these
reasonable to
things
think
could
so.
happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not that there's some sort of contradiction that these things occur. Yeah, because if God exists, these things are possible. Now, with regards to whether or not Islam is true, my journey to Islam didn't involve looking at miracles and being impressed by them. Like, I wasn't that bothered about them at all. And even for a little while, I was still somewhat like it seems strange, but that's the whole point of a miracle, isn't it? Like, if a prophet came and said, "I'm from God," and someone said, "Prove it," and he said, "Okay, here's a tuna sandwich," you'd look at him funny. You say, "Well, that's not that impressive, is it?" Like, the whole point of a miracle is that it's supposed to be strange. It's supposed to be weird. It's supposed to be like, believe it, that's not something that's supposed to be able to happen. So when we hear the stories about when people have experienced these things, yes, they're going to sound strange because that's the whole point of a miracle. And if at the beginning of that, it's dependent on if God is, the holder of certain attributes, like we've mentioned, then it follows this is perfectly possible. So this isn't something that you should, if you're interested in Islam, and obviously my internet cut off for a sec, so I didn't hear the beginning of it, but if it is something you're interested in, like focusing on, this seems strange, did it happen or not, is a secondary issue because it's not really something that you're going to get to the bottom of, independent of the idea of whether or not God exists and whether or not the Quran is the word of Allah and whether or not Muhammad was a truthful messenger. For me, it was a case of, like, I became to believe in these things. I believe God existed. I believe God was one. And I believe God was powerful and capable. I believe the Quran was the word of God and that Muhammad was a messenger. And because of that, I accepted the miracles. Because if these things are all true, then that follows perfectly. Like, it's not, it might be strange to the ears of an agnostic. It might be strange to a secular person, but if God exists, then it's not that strange that these things could happen at all. Yeah, it's perfectly possible. And so I would say focus on fundamental or primary subjects of importance to distinguishing whether or not this religion is true. Because this one, the talk of atheists, and whenever I've spoken or like had discussions with atheists that are sort of antagonistic to religions because of miracles, the antagonism, what underlies it is this idea that it's some sort of, like, it's an impossibility. Like, it's impossible that, Moses split the sea. But it's the only reason you would think it's impossible is if you already believe that it's impossible that God exists. And then these things seem strange. But the objection, rooted in the objection, is a priori belief in atheism. If you understand, if you're following my point, like, so
yeah, I think I kind of understand. Maybe something which, like, I think many atheists themselves like expect something is supposed to something them to believe, then it should be like it's like they're waiting for the moment when sun rises from west.
Yeah, but even then, certain people, they would still think of some explanation or some excuse. The Quran mentions this, that like the doors of heaven could open and people could be taken there and they could see it and witness, and they would still say, "Oh, my eyes are deceiving me." And Richard Dawkins, and I'm not even sure if he said it because he read the Quran either. I think he just said it off of his own back, like without having read the Quran or looking at that verse or being inspired by that verse to say this. But he was asked, like, if you were to see God, if God was to come to you and exclaim, I am here, or if you were to be taken to heaven or to the heavens, would you believe then? And he says, you know what? I don't know if I would. I would think my eyes are deceiving me, or I think maybe I've gone crazy, or he would think lots of other things before he even conceded. And it's very telling. A lot of it has got to do with the fact that I think many of these people just are not interested in believing in something. Like they've written it off from the get-go. They're not open to the possibility of it. And because of that, it feeds into a lot of their apologetics.
I really think a big part of it is about Occam's razor. It's not really it doesn't like really or it makes the assumption that the simplest explanation is the most rational one. So I think for many people it is that because
in regards to
because for them God seems very very complex explanation. If something like very strange happens, it's due to Occam's razor, they assume something which might even be more natural explanation, like hallucination or something.
But even them, they're not more simple. Like when if you're trying to explain to me why a banana tastes like a banana, and you go into the natural explanation, it stops being very simple. You go down to the molecular level. You go even further to the quantum level. And like, if you unpack that and unpack it and unpack it and unpack it, the truth of the matter of the natural explanation is a very complex one.
I agree. It's like the experience is very complex.
Yeah, brother. When it comes to Occam's razor, you also have to look at the explanatory scope. Like, what is the scope of the explanation? So when it comes to miracles, like we were saying, once you recognize that there is an all-powerful creator, then miracles are not an issue or a problem, right? It's actually, it's not a complicated explanation. God is able to create. God is able to change his creation. Miracles are an alteration of within or to the natural laws that God has created. Can God do that? Yes. It's a very simple explanation. And it's got complete explanatory scope. There's no issue. It's internally coherent. Yes, if you look at it outside, if you don't believe in God or recognize God, then miracles become a big problem. Or if you have a skewed perception of who God is, then sure, miracles can be a problem. But once you understand who Allah is and what Allah is able to do, then miracles are not an issue at all.
Yeah, for me, it's personal, like very hard to discount all the other explanations. But
no, but even then, these other explanations, how does that write off the idea that God was behind that? Like, for example, like in the Quran, it talks about Allah brings forth the rain. Yeah, and some people, they read this and they approach it in I would say somewhat a silly manner, and they go, oh, but we know that's not true. We know the rain is caused by this process and that process, and the heat of the sun warms up the water and it evaporates and it goes up and it cools as it gets higher and it becomes a cloud, and then the cloud becomes too heavy and then it turns into rain, and they start explaining this whole process. But okay, so you can open it up a bit more, but how does that mean that Allah isn't the first cause of that thing? In the same way, it's like, if someone comes to me and go, oh, Deirdre baked that cake, and I go, no, in fact, what happened is that the dough was made, the eggs were raised or the chickens were raised and they laid eggs, and then just because you go into the process of something and you explain it in more detail, it doesn't negate the statement that X was involved in that process in some way.
Yeah, that's the case, and that's why I brought the Occam's razor, because in a sense, let's take the example of rain. In a sense, if God was there, it works as if we have the natural explanation. Oh yeah, water vapor comes into like very small dust particles, and it becomes rain. After a while, it has been in the atmosphere. That we have like a natural explanation, and if we say like, oh yeah, like God does it, it comes as a complementary there. It's something to add into the explanation, but it doesn't take the natural explanation away.
Yeah. But it's not trying to take the explanation away. Like there's nothing mutually exclusive about either of these statements. Like you could say, God is, because if you want, from a theistic perspective, obviously here we're saying God is the creator of all things. So if you want to go into detail about the process, that's fine. That's not something that's going to undermine us as Muslims who believe in Allah or believe in the Quran and believe where it says, Allah brings forth the rain. Because the naturalistic explanation would just be us. The way we would look at that is just say, okay, how does Allah bring forth the rain? He causes this, he causes that to act in such a way, and these particular laws create the conditions for this to allow this to occur, etc. Like there's nothing that, these are fine. Like you can have your naturalist explanations in terms of how this causes this effect and so on and so forth, and you've got this chain of them, but the theist is still saying, okay, but what gives rise to all of this? Yeah, and we're going back to a more fundamental thing. And I personally, I really don't get this urge to talk about like naturalistic explanations as if they inherently negate the notion that Allah exists, or that we don't need to make reference to Allah somehow, or that because at the end of the day, you can get, like, in the same way that just because you can understand the process in which a cake is made, it doesn't mean there wasn't a baker.
Yeah, I actually agree with you about this. I actually talk about with Sobor Ahmad about this, and it's about like if we like understand the natural processes, they have like may have a lot of explanatory power when made some assumptions, but it really does not negate any of the complementary explanations on top of that. So I think we're agreeing here.
Brother, why don't you book in a session with Yusuf on the Lighthouse Mentoring, and you guys can pick up on this and go through more detail, because we have some more guests on that we want to bring on.
It's okay. I really thank you for your time.
No problem, brother. I'm sure Yusuf will love to carry this on. So please do book. It's a free session, bro. Just book it in on the Lighthouse, and you guys can have a nice, productive chat about. Because I think this discussion, these topics must be discussed, and Lighthouse is perfect for this. Because we would love to carry on here, bro. It's just we've got more people on, and there's more questions people are waiting to get answered on the live chat as well.
Yeah,
so,
do me a favor. If you do book a meeting, so I do certain days. I do Monday and Friday mornings, from 9 till 12. If you can't do those hours, if just book any meeting and just put in the notes. I spoke to Yusuf on the fundraising live stream, and then what I'll do is I can try and like make an arrangement outside of my normal hours, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much.
How do I pronounce your name?
Jams.
Jams. It's nice to meet you, Jams.
Nice to meet you too.
Take care.
Take care, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think there's someone asking questions in the chat.
Yeah,
as well.
someone asked about leaving Islam. Let me see if the question is still
there. I saw the question. So it was about
yeah, I told them to book a Lighthouse Mentoring with you. But if you want to quickly address it now, you can.
So with regards to like announcing it and so on and so on, you don't have to announce it for whatever reason. If you're uncomfortable, like you can keep it private. because the last thing you want to do is cause yourself any unnecessary pressure that you're not quite comfortable with yet. If you feel brave, and it is hard because it took me maybe, I don't know, like 2 years, I think 1 or 2 years before I even told anyone. And I was a super secret, sneaky Muslim for a while. And the reason was because I was so anxious about what people might say, what people might think. Because I understood, because I come from their world, and Islam was as strange to them as it was to me before I became a Muslim. And I get it. So like it's something that causes you anxiety, especially just to like mention it, because they may react negatively. And if not, they may just look at you as if you're strange, or they may have these assumptions about it. But I would just say it when you're comfortable to say it. With regards to like being firm, it's like the tide, it can come, it can go, the tide comes in, it goes out. I wouldn't say wait until you're quote unquote firm. I'd say wait until you're ready, whether that means you are firm or you're not firm. And in terms of developing firmness, you're going to do that by just studying the Quran, by looking into things like Aqidah, by engaging in worship, ibadah, especially in this blessed month, and just sort of trying to develop that relationship with Allah and drawing closer to him. And you're going to do that by getting to know who he is, knowing about his names, his attributes, so on and so forth. So inshallah, that would be something that will develop firmness. But I wouldn't connect the two. I wouldn't say that you're announcing it should have anything to do with whether or not you're firm. It should be more about the considerations of whether or not there's going to be any harms in announcing it. But again, if you want to talk in more detail, because I don't know your personal circumstances, so I can't give you too much of a detailed answer about what I'd recommend for you in particular. But if you want to chat, inshallah, you could email or book a meeting and maybe give a bit more detail with regards to the context.
Okay, so we've got Wesley on.
Hello, Wesley.
Wesley, you can unmute yourself. Yep.
Hi. Yep, my name is
Hi.
Wesley Lawrence Curry II. I'm in Huntington, West Virginia. I moved here about 7 years ago from Chicago, where every day for 8.5 years, I told a vision Jesus Christ gave to me. And it wasn't a vision that told me I'm a really great guy, that I'm doing his will, that I'm holy, or, that I'm fantastic, that I'm good. It's a vision that taught me that I'm evil. That when it comes to the Bible, I am really like a head missing half its brains in a pit. I'm not moving anybody, and I'm not moving myself, and I'm looking into my own mind for answers, and I'm like alive seeking death in a pit. And there was 2 creatures, and the creatures are like me. When I fail you, when I say something wicked or unkind behind your back, and then you turn around and say, you make me feel like you cut my foot off. What did you just say to me? And I would say, oh, praise Jesus. I don't know what you're talking about. Hallelujah, Jesus. I'm a Christian. I would never say that. Oh, this happens in our society often. It's called being double-tongued or double-minded or double-hearted. And I have failed you being double-minded and double-hearted and double-tongued. And when I fail you, I fail Jesus. And there was a foot that didn't bleed. It was cut off. And it means that I failed to believe in Jesus's forgiveness. And there was a black shoe on the foot. It was a very fashionable shoe. Had a square toe. And it was dirty. The white sock was clean, but the black shoe was dirty. The black shoe means this. Why? And that black shoe got cut off with the foot. And I also failed you by walking a crooked path in life, like a crooked path of circles made only for cutting. And when I fail you, I failed Jesus.
Wesley, so, just to ask a question.
Sure.
So in terms of, like, if I was to just ask you to summarize briefly what you want to achieve with your appearance here today, because just to give you a bit of context, so this is a fundraiser for Sapiens Institute. We're an Islamic organization, and we seek to share and defend Islam in particular. I'm guessing you're a Christian. Of an
Well, about up to here. I think from here down, I might be white and clean, but from here up, I'm still filthy, dirty ashes, like the sickest, filthy, weak ashes you ever saw. That's what my soul looked like. It looked like dead ashes from head to toe with a pearl of light in my belly.
Wesley, have you
ashes were from my sin, the wages of sin.
So would you consider yourself a Christian or not? Or
well, from here down, yeah. From here
I don't know what
up,
that. I don't know what that means. So do you let me simplify then. So would you say that you believe that Jesus is the Son of God and part of the triune Godhead? So the Son, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That there are three persons, one being.
On August 25th, in the year 2005. I saw Jesus appeared to me in a white robe with dark olive skin and black hair, and a child that
Wesley, I don't mean to interject.
It is he, and then that was Jesus, August 25, 2000.
Okay. 2005. My questions are very specific.
He created the heavens and the universe. He created infinity.
Okay,
he created everything. That man that stood there in front of me is God.
Okay, so you believe in the Trinity or not?
Well, I can't answer that question. Like I said, I'm kind of like that guy in the pit, missing half his brains.
Okay.
So I don't want to tell you an answer that will mislead you.
Okay. So you're not sure.
I'm just not going to answer that question.
So Wesley, let me ask you a question. Have you read the Quran, Wesley?
A voice told me, I will turn and toss you violently like a ball. And I want to enlighten you that you don't think it was God. It was Satan. And the way Satan told me, I will turn and toss you violently like a ball, is how Satan fooled Muhammad into writing the Quran. It happened to you on October 10 in the year 2005.
Okay, so now we're getting, so Wesley, basically, you're...
So no, I don't read the Quran ever. I read the King James Bible. And Jesus, you put in their mouths again the taste of honey in those mouths, and everyone watching in this minute, the taste of honey in their mouths. For I fail you, Jesus, not believing in your forgiveness.
Wesley, we get you, Wesley. Just a quick
bleed that got cut off.
Okay, Wesley, let me ask you a question, Wesley.
Now you do a miracle. Now you put a taste in my mouth. Go ahead.
Okay, so everything you believe, Wesley, it seems like is based on your experiences. Am I wrong in assuming that? These personal experiences
and my personal experiences.
Okay, so it was your personal experience that told you that this is Jesus and he is God, and it was your personal experience, your vision or whatever you want to call it, that told you that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not a true prophet. So it was your visions, correct, that told you these things?
I can't really answer that question. That's like a railing question. You're expecting your answer, and I really don't have your answer.
No, I'm not expecting anything, Wesley. I just want to know your answer. Like, is that
we're trying to
what you're suggesting?
I'd rather not answer that one. I'm sorry.
No, because you expressed it yourself, Wesley. You said that it was your experiences that told you that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not a messenger of God, and that's why you didn't read the Quran. That's what you told us right now.
I never read the Quran. I never have.
And that's because of your experience, correct?
I know Jesus is God, and I know the King James Bible is his word. That the way he appeared to me and the way he spoke is the way he appeared to the men who he chose to write the Bible. It wasn't a mysterious, invisible gas saying, don't tell the vision in my head. You know, and I'm afraid that you really do. I'm convinced you do believe that voice is God that told you don't tell the vision. And that voice is how he told the Quran to Muhammad, and that voice was Satan.
Okay, can I ask you a quick question in regards to that?
Sure.
Okay, so
I hope I can answer.
Your vision has informed you that the Quran is from Satan, right?
The vision here, I did a drawing of it.
No, I just like an answer.
Yeah, it looked like that. See that square pit? It means I failed Jesus not reading the Bible every day. And in the pit was that head right there in the corner, missing half his brains like me.
Okay, Wesley, what I'm trying to get at is I just want you to think about something for a second, right? Your vision told you that the Quran is from Satan. But did you know that the Quran, just let me finish, Wesley, please. Did you know that the Quran actually tells us how to avoid and stay away from Satan? It exposes Satan's plans. It tells us that Satan is evil and that we should stay away from him and that we should worship God alone. That's what the Quran says. Did you know that? Obviously,
Well,
you didn't because you haven't read it.
Satan's plan is to brand you with an Omni barcode and give you $32,523 to take his image, the barcode called Omni, the mark of the beast. That's his plan.
I feel like you're not answering any of the questions. I'm not too sure. So what? Just to get an idea. So you've come.
Well, you guys are so far away from the truth and reality that you know. I give you a miracle, the taste of honey in your mouth. I tell you an exact dream you had every day for 20 years, and you're going to go lie and say your lie is the truth.
Wesley,
and say, I didn't see it. That's what you're going to do.
This is a conversation.
So
Wesley,
you're liars.
Wesley,
and
getting a vision.
Everyone knows it, and everyone.
Yeah, I think we just leave that there. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, Wesley. Take care.
Do you think he was gonna go?
Yeah, he's not addressing the questions.
You know what? I got so excited today because the first few calls that we had, I didn't check them, and they were brilliant calls. So I think checking is important, and this is why we check brothers and sisters, because sometimes it's very difficult. You don't know who's gonna come on, and the problem isn't that we get Christians come on or Hindus come on. The problem is when they're not looking to engage, or answer questions or have a discussion. That's when it becomes
was he saying he told us about a dream that we've had for 20 years?
No,
I've never had that dream in my life, but yeah. So anyway, moving on. Let's so I did intend to show you all the website, so you can have a look at the work we're doing. If you want to come on, by the way, feel free to, but let's just preface it. Yeah, what we're here to do is have a conversation, and we're not interested in being preached to. If you want to engage, ask questions, we answer. We ask questions, you answer. If you're not willing to, reciprocate in that manner, then don't bother joining the stream, because that's not what we're here for. We're not here to just give people a random platform to just. I don't know I don't know. After everything he said, I still don't quite understand what he was intending.
May Allah guide him, man. May Allah guide him. It's just.
Yeah, so this is our website. So there's a number of things that you can get access to on here, all of which are completely free. So we've got the books, essays, answers, book reviews, etc. You can get the PDFs for each of these free of charge by going onto the website. For example, we've got the No Doubts course, which was turned into a book. You just put your details in there, submit, and you get access to the free PDF online. There you go. Free of charge. And if you want
that's the No Doubt book, right?
Yeah, the No Doubt book. If you want the physical copy as well, I think we do sell the physical copy. And I think it's just the cost, whatever it is that Amazon charge us for printing the book and then shipping it. But we don't make a profit on the books we sell on Amazon. If you would like, you could listen to the audiobooks. So we've got a couple of them that have been turned into audiobooks, including essays, etc., including my book as well. We also have the learning platform. So you can go here, and there are many. I think we've got maybe around 15 courses on there at the moment.
16 courses now.
16 courses. Some in Spanish, the rest and the majority of which are in English. And again, free of charge. You can access them. They're professionally filmed, academically sourced, very well put together, and they're essentially proper courses. So you can go on to them. Mashallah, we've got the Brother Imran Hussein developed the course for the Divine Reality based on Brother Hamza Zortz's book, The Divine Reality. Islamic theism and the mirage of atheism. But you can see how it's sort of set up here. You've got a number of videos broken up into sections, and then they go into a bit more detail, and you get quizzes at the end of each section, just to check that you're following along. And if you complete them all, you get a little certificate of completion at the end of it. And you'll notice here as well, at the bottom, on each and every one of these, it says free. And they vary from small courses, like this one on secularism, which is about 4 hours long. It's not long at all. You could probably, finish that in a day if you put your mind to it. You just have a bit of a rest 2 hours in, and then power through the rest for the next 2 hours. All the way through to this absolute beast of a course, which is 33 hours long, on the subjects of Islam and LGBT, with Brother Kal Sharif. And yeah, again, all of these are completely free, and you can get access to them on our website. We're going to have more courses being produced and put on there as well, so do make sure to check them out. And we also have the Lighthouse Mentoring Project, which is a service specifically aimed to help with 3 things. The first is to help people with their doubts. So if you're doubting Islam is true, you're not sure if Allah exists, whether or not Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger, or the Quran is the word of Allah, these kind of things. If you've got shubuhats and you don't have anyone to discuss them with, and you wish to go through them and to try to help yourself and to overcome them, you can book a meeting free of charge privately. It's not going to have to, for example, we're doing these live because these are a live stream, but this isn't how the Lighthouse Mentoring is done. Lighthouse Mentoring is done privately via Zoom in a one-to-one meeting with a mentor. And you can have that discussion with them and air your concerns and discuss that with them. And we'll do our best, inshallah, to help you overcome them. Again, free of charge. If you're someone who is engaged with people, like, for example, a Muslim who has doubts, an ex-Muslim, a non-Muslim, or a new Muslim, and you're engaged in da'wah on some level, as a leader in your community or whatever it is, and you're struggling answering certain questions, like you're dealing with people's doubts and you're having to deal with trying to uplift people and engage with them in da'wah, but you're struggling, and you've got questions you want to ask, and how do you overcome this problem or this problem? What's the best way to deal with this? If someone comes up to you and asks you this question, we can go through that with you. And so you can book a meeting with us, again, privately, free of charge, and we can go through that with you. And then the third service is with regards to new Muslim support, which we should have released already, but it's just there's a few bits and bobs we're trying to iron out at the moment. And I think the service is available, so you can go on and book it. And there's a couple of brothers that are available now, not as in now, as in like right this very second. But if you select the new Muslim mentoring, let me check that it's on here actually.
We've got Osama on as well, Yusuf, on the call. Someone's joined.
Yeah, there we go. New Muslim mentoring. So the Tuesdays are open at the moment, and then they're going to be open on the Mondays, the Fridays, and then some on the Wednesdays as well, inshallah. And then Saturdays and Sundays too. So you can book these, and if you're a new Muslim who needs support and you want to have a conversation and stuff, you can do that as well. Again, completely free of charge. So let's have a look. Before we bring the person on, I just want to make a call again to those of you who are watching. We need your support. And so if you could become one of our defenders, we've set a target of 2,000 defenders throughout the month of Ramadan who donate and contribute £10 per month towards helping us with our expenses. So, for example, we have bills to pay. We've got the office in London, which costs money to run and to have going. The courses that we have, you have to pay a cameraman to come and film them. You have to pay an editor to edit the videos and to upload them. We have to pay people to manage and sort out our websites, etc. There's a lot of costs involved in running an organization, and we really do need your help in order to continue the work we're doing, which we again produce for free. Alternatively, we could do a different model. We had the choice to not do fundraising and instead to simply charge people for the material. We could have put our books on Amazon for £20 a copy, £30 a copy. We could have put the courses on there for £100, £200 per course, with a limited access. We could have made it a monthly subscription where in order to get access to the learning platform, you've got to pay £20 a month. We could have done all of these things, and that would have freed us from the need of having to fundraise. But that would have put a limit on who would have access to the courses. And we do not wish to place obstacles between the ummah and those who wish to engage in da'wah, or those who have, suffering from doubts, like through the Lighthouse Project. There's many organizations or people, Muslim and non-Muslim, that charge for their time. If you want to sit down and have a meeting with them for half an hour, it could cost you anything from £30 upwards, £100 upwards. Recently, I was talking to some friends, and they mentioned there was someone that was charging £1,000 for a meeting for marriage counselling, just for one meeting. Wow. And that's probably an hour, £1,000. And we don't want, because obviously that really limits your clientele. The people that are going to engage with you are only going to be the people that have the kind of money lying around in order to be able to spend that, that sort of cash. We really don't want to do that, because we understand that the ummah is filled with both rich and poor, and some people have money and some people don't, and there are people with motivation and the will and the ability to give da'wah whether or not they have money. And keeping all of our material free, be that our books, our online courses, all of these things, and leaving them free allows those who have the means and those who don't to engage with the material, to make use of it, and inshallah to guide people. And our hope, our desire is that this will have a huge effect worldwide in calling people to Islam and convincing them of Islam. And we really do think that this is the best of the two options. Rather than charging people for the material, we keep it free. And we ask you, our brothers and sisters, to help contribute with a monthly donation. We're not asking for you to break the bank. We're not asking for you to, sell all your things and go live in a cave. We're simply asking that if you pay however much you pay for Netflix or for YouTube Premium or for this or for that, we're simply asking, if you can afford it, please do consider contributing £10 a month, which works out, I think Imran said before, 35 pence a day.
That's a day, yeah.
Yeah, which is hardly anything. You probably spend more on coffee in a month. So please, brothers and sisters, do consider that, and you will help contribute towards paying for the cameramen, paying for the editors, paying for the the rent, etc. All of these things require backing, and inshallah, if you do so, you will reap the rewards of what this organization produces. Anyone who is called back to Islam, who has left, anyone who is suffering from a doubt, who's relieved, anyone who's a new Muslim and they've required support and we've given it to them, anyone who has taken any of our courses and it's helped them, or read any of our books and it's helped them, or engaged with us in any way and it's helped them, and they've gone on to become da'is themselves and call people to Islam, you will share in that reward, inshallah. So please, brothers and sisters, do consider contributing. Go to sapiensinstitute.org/defenders. You can see it scrolling around at the bottom there, and become one of the defenders today, inshallah.
Inshallah. Let's get Usman on, and then we'll get Ahmed on, inshallah. I will probably take those as the last two live call-ins today, bro, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Usman. You're live. You can take unmute. You're unmuted, inshallah. Usman, do you have any questions, bro? You're on the live.
You're not muted. You're just not saying anything. So I'm not sure if your microphone's not working. I don't know if you're.
We'll come back to Usman. Let's go to Ahmed, inshallah.
Yeah. So Usman, if you can try and use an alternative microphone. So if you're using headphones, take the headphones out and try to use something else. If you're not using headphones, try and get headphones. Inshallah, that'll resolve the issue. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, bro.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, so I have a very small question. Last year, I came across someone who said that they don't eat halal meat specifically because they thought that the halal way of slaughtering is inhumane.
Okay.
And to the best of my ability, what I explained was that no, there are certain conditions that have to be met, that the knife has to be sharp and the animals have to be separated and all this. But they said that Well, the way that you do it, like it's a slow process and it looks painful to the animal. So is there any evidence that, like, do we have anything that it's not actually painful, or how do we respond to that?
Yeah, so you know when have you ever been cut with a sharp knife?
No. I
Paper
mean,
cut.
may have. Yeah, it's not painful at all.
So I have a friend. This is from back in the days of Jahiliyyah. We used to go clubbing, and there's this beef between beef. I use slang and then forget not everyone knows what it means. There was this.
Nah,
There's like a tension between people from Manchester and people from Liverpool. Like, you know, the rough people from each town or each city really don't like each other, and I think it's sort of rooted in football. I'm not interested in football, not really bothered about it, but it's probably connected to that. So people from Manchester don't like the people from Liverpool. The people from Liverpool can often not like the people from Manchester. There's antagonism there. And my friends had gone out to Liverpool for a night out. And while he was in the bathroom, he's talking to his friends. And he's just talking out loud. Like, you know, and obviously he's got a Mancunian accent. And that's on display for anyone who's got ears to hear. And then he's walked out and he had a white t-shirt on. And his missus at the time was looking at him and she's like, "Are you bleeding?" He's like, "What? What do you mean?" And he's looked at himself and all of his t-shirt at the back has gone red. And he's like, "Oh," and this was at the early of the night, by the way. So it's not that he was drunk or anything. It was just, he'd just gone out. And someone had stabbed him in the back with a knife that was very sharp. And he didn't feel a thing. And he didn't, to the degree, he didn't even know he was stabbed until someone else told him he'd been stabbed. Now, the whole point of a sharp knife is that when you cut the jugular vein with a very sharp knife, and you do so quickly, and you get it straight into the vein, which is the artery that gives oxygen to the blood vessels in the brain. When you cut that, within moments, the person or the animal falls unconscious because there's no oxygen in the brain, and it can happen very quickly. What they say is a long process, is the bleeding out, but this bleeding out occurs while the animal is unconscious. They're not aware of what's going on. There are some nervous reactions that the body does.
They say that the body is shaking, and which is causing it harm and pain.
No, but they're making an assumption here. They're unconscious. They're unconscious.
It's just physical reactions.
Yeah, it's just a bodily reaction to the body going into shock because of the lack of blood that's going to the brain. But because there's no oxygen in the brain, it's not feeling anything. It's unconscious. It's not there. It's not experiencing anything at all. And what they're doing is they're just like, "Oh, but that looks like it's in pain. But that's completely different. That's not the same as saying it is." Yeah. When you fall unconscious, my brother fell out of a tree when he was younger. He fell unconscious before he hit the floor. Yeah. And the fall, he doesn't even remember it. He remembers the pain when he came to and his body was hurting, but he has no recollection of the pain while he was unconscious. And falling unconscious is somewhat of a safety mechanism that the body has. You know, when there's, it's something that just stops you from experiencing it. And this is why, you know, when you go into surgery, they put you under anesthesia. Yeah? They knock you out. Why? Because when you're unconscious, you're not experiencing the thing. You're not experiencing the pain. You follow? So that's the whole point of halal slaughter, is that it's supposed to be quick. Yeah, they don't see what's happening to them. The knife is extremely sharp, and when you have an incision from a sharp knife, you don't feel it. Yeah, because the knife is so sharp, and the knife is being used to cut a primary artery a very important artery which provides oxygen to the brain. It falls unconscious very quickly, and then it bleeds out. The process is quick.
Right.
It's not long. What they're experiencing is nothing more than propaganda from far right, usually, anti-Islamic rhetoric, where they talk about it as if like we're I don't know, electrocuting them to death. Some of them,
Yeah, which is worse.
some of them don't. This is how they half of the time their own food comes from much worse conditions. Half of the time, a lot of these people will have eggs on their shells from caged hens. Yeah, and what it is there's depending on the person, I would just say to them, listen, this is nonsense. It's not true that they're experiencing pain. A major artery is being severed by a very sharp knife. Yeah, and upon that occurring, it falls unconscious. And while it's unconscious, it's not experiencing anything at all. That's what it means to be unconscious.
Yeah.
You're no longer conscious. You're no longer having experiences.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I think this is the perfect response. I'll keep it in mind. All right, thank you so much, bro. Can I just say one thing really quickly? Brother Imran, the live stream that you did with Subur, there's one that you did yesterday, and there's one I think you did about two days ago.
Yes.
In which you talked about negative thoughts and all that, that we shouldn't give them, attention and energy. Bro, wallahi, bro, it helped me so much. And like it's crazy how the help of Allah comes. That is exactly what I was going through at that time. And just out of nowhere you came live, like you woke up for suhoor, and you came live on Subur's channel. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So
Alhamdulillah, bro, that's good. Mashallah.
I wanted to hop on yesterday on Subur's, but I couldn't, just to say this. But bro, it really helped me.
It's one of the biggest things which most Muslims don't recognize. But once you recognize it, bro, then you realize waswasa dies down. It's shaitan. Allah tells us that shaitan's plans are weak, right? All he can do is whisper, right? It's how we respond to the whisper. If we understand that, it's how we respond to the waswasa. If we focus on it, we take it seriously, we spend time with it, we try to deconstruct it, we try to understand it, or all of it. When we give it any energy, this is what I mean by energy. Spending time with it, thinking about it, reflecting upon it, worrying about it, that's giving it energy. When you do this, then you are making that situation worse. If it comes in, you don't take it seriously. It's just waswasa. You get on with something positive, bro. I'll tell you another tip, bro. Yeah, try this as well. Inshallah, you won't need it. But whenever you get negative thoughts, whenever anyone gets negative thoughts, waswasa, or just generally from ourselves, whatever the case is, whenever you get negative thoughts, number one, don't take them seriously, meaning don't give them energy and focus. Just get on with something else. Okay, recognize it. It's waswasa, it's there. Everyone gets it, no problem. Get on with something else, right? Secondly, each time it happens, say, you know what, I'm going to do something good for the sake of Allah, and go do a small good action. Because look, shaitan's objective is to take you away from Allah, and his waswasa is driven by this objective as well. Now, if you do the opposite, you'll notice that the waswasa is going to disappear. The problem isn't the thoughts, bro. The problem is how we respond to the thoughts, right? So just stop responding to negative thoughts. Thousands of thoughts come into our head, bro, every single day. And many of them we don't have control over. They just come in and go out, come in and go out. That's the function. The brain is functioning. We're conscious. We're awake. Thoughts come and go. It's what we do with the thoughts which is important, right? And that's what gives you control back, bro. We don't recognize that. We think it's the thought. The thoughts come in. The thoughts bothering me. The thoughts doing this to me. No, it's how you're responding to the thought. That's the key thing, right? Negative thoughts, ignore them, push them aside. Don't give them importance. Let them be. It'll disappear, right? Don't give it any energy. Positive thoughts, encourage positive thinking. Actually make the effort to think positive things, right? And whenever good thoughts come into your mind, encourage those thoughts, inshallah. And it's a process, bro. It'll take time. It takes time. Like the brain's plastic, bro, right? We may become conditioned to deal with the thoughts in particular ways. So sometimes we get conditioned and we are wired to focus on negative thoughts and focus in on them and spend time with them. you know, and then that eventually leads to what we can call a depression or a low mood and so on and so forth. But you can retrain yourself out of that as well by not giving the negative thoughts any intention or importance and focusing on positive thoughts. And they'll be difficult in the beginning, but you do it for long enough, your brain will get wired like that, inshallah.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what happened. Like I started doing it, and over time, it became so much better, bro.
Yeah,
This
inshallah.
is this is
May Allah
golden
bless you, bro.
advice for everyone. Thank you so much, bro. Jazakallah khair.
Wayakum. Take care, bro.
All
Assalamu
right.
alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to go to Usman. But before we do that, we are fundraising tonight. We are looking for 60 defenders. We need you, brothers and sisters, to support this work. Yusuf mentioned a little while ago the importance of supporting this work. It helps us keep this content free, the learning platform free, the Lighthouse mentoring free. And all of these services will cost a lot if it was purchased on an individual basis, right, by the consumer. We're trying to keep these things free. This is free information, but we need your support to keep this work going, to keep this organization going, to keep producing this work, producing more books, producing more courses, getting more Lighthouse mentors, refining that whole process. Yusuf is working on it, adding elements to it. New Muslim training is being done. New Muslim support will take place in Lighthouse mentoring as well. There's all of these things we want to do. It takes finances, brothers and sisters. And all we need is 60 people tonight to give just £10, which is 35 pence a day. Go to sapiensinstitute.org/defenders and support us, brothers and sisters. We still need 700 more defenders this Ramadan, inshallah. Please help us hit that target. Let's go to Usman, Yusuf, inshallah.
Yeah, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you, brothers?
Fix your microphone.
Alhamdulillah, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fixed. Yeah, I changed from laptop to the phone now, so it works fine, I guess. Okay. So I put the question in the comments also. It was about the works of the Justin Barrett. I didn't read it myself, but maybe you have been through it. So how it's related to, if it's related to this concept of Fitrah. He also talks about the inclination of the children towards the existence of God and stuff. And if, and related to that question would be that when we talk about the Fitrah, is within the Fitrah the only things, for example, the inclination towards God or the oneness of the God, is that all about Fitrah, or if there's more to it?
So I've not read the article, so I'm not gonna be able to comment on that. I don't know if Brother Imran has.
Yeah, I've read both Justin L. Barrett's book. He's got a book called Born Believers, and he has a few other books as well. And also Olivera Petrovich, that's another academic who's done similar research on children and the natural beliefs that they formulate. So the belief in causal agencies, that there is a cause, there is a creator behind the universe. Both of them have noticed that children naturally develop these beliefs. It's the opposite, which is denying causal agency, which takes teaching. So you have to teach kids that. If you leave the kids alone naturally, they will naturally grow and formulate beliefs about causal agencies, that there are causes and there's a creator behind everything that exists. Now, they are showing this in their research. However, their conclusion based on this data is not going to match with what we're saying, right? Because remember, they're scientists, they're working within the framework of science, and therefore they are limited by methodological naturalism, and therefore they have to look for natural explanations as to why this occurs. So how did they do this? What do they say in this case? They will just, what they say is that we're hardwired to believe in a higher power, but this is because of evolution. So that's what they'll say. We've evolved to believe in a higher power because it has survival, advantages to our survival and so on and so forth, right? That's their conclusion because of the limitations they have within the scientific framework and because of the overarching evolutionary paradigm that they have to stick to in most cases. However, what's important for us is to look at the data. How they connect the data is up to them. We connect it in our own way. What they're showing is what we're saying, which is that human beings are naturally designed and wired to believe in Allah. It's a part of the Fitrah. We call it the Fitrah. We refer to it as the Fitrah. They won't use this term, but this is referring to the Fitrah. It says natural inclination. There's natural inclination to recognize God, a cause, a creator, to worship him. This is natural. We say initially, Allah placed this within every single human soul. He created us upon the Fitrah. Allah created us upon the Fitrah. So that's how, hopefully that's what clarifies it for you. But it's interesting that the research is showing that our position is in line with our position. Now, the way they connect the dots of that research, the data points, it doesn't matter, bro. And bro, even within science, you'll get 3 different scientists that have the same data points, and each 3 of them can connect the data in different ways, and they'll come to 3 different conclusions. But the data is the same, right? So how they and I've even highlighted to you why they connect the dots in that way, because of methodological naturalism, because of the overarching evolutionary paradigm, etc., etc. From our perspective, we don't have to go do that. We just look at the data and we say, alhamdulillah, look, it's in line with what we're saying. But we don't use it to prove that the fitrah is there, right? We don't believe in the fitrah because of this research. It just supports what we're saying, inshallah.
Okay, the second part was that, for example, when you talk about the fitrah, is the fitrah only about the existence of God or believing in one God, right? That inclination towards God, or does fitrah have more to it? For example, the intuition or something like this, if I'm clear.
Yes, we did speak about this earlier with Brother Nadeem.
Okay.
So there's a difference opinion among the scholars. Some say one, some say the other, some say it could potentially be both. But Allah Alam. What I mentioned was the verse in the Quran that says that before we were born, we were made to bear witness that Allah is our Lord and He is one. And I think that the fitrah probably has some sort of connection to that experience that we've had. Whether or not we remember it explicitly, that when, if you read the Quran or anything like that, that what it should do is to bring back that awareness, or at least what's the word I could use? Maybe tickle that memory, for lack of better words. And that's what I would think of as the fitrah, along with it being as well like a magnet. This natural inclination towards the truth of your creator, the truth of your beginning, the truth of your dependency upon your Lord. That's the way I sort of look at it. It's not necessarily either or.
Okay, so just 2 more questions. So the first would be, actually the third question, that would be, for example, any recommendation for books in liberalism? And the second would be, with the donation, for example, when we go to the site, it only accepts the credit cards. So I'm not sure, some other person was also commenting about that. It's just accepting the credit card. Some people don't have it. So if that could be fixed, I'm not sure if that's true. I also went there, so it was just showing that credit card number and stuff like that.
When you say credit cards, you mean not debit cards? Because we do accept debit.
Yeah.
It does accept debit cards.
Okay. It was not accepting mine. It was not accepting mine, and there was some other person also.
Is it a Visa card, bro? Okay, it should accept that. If it's not, then there's probably something wrong. We'll mention that too.
So if you go on as well, let me show you. If you go to that page, where is it? So if you scroll down.
Yeah, my bad. I have not used the Visa one, so I used a different one. So I'm going to use that one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but you could still go through the process. People will get benefit.
Yeah, so basically you just go to so rather than the donate one, it's going to the one in particular. It's for this fundraiser, which was was it Defenders?
Defenders, yeah.
Yeah, Defenders. / Defenders. So you go here, you select the £10 a month, and then you click next, and then it just asks you for your name, your details. So like we'll just say, I'll put mine in. And then it's so it asks for that. You could pay with that. You could pay via PayPal. But you should be able to use any card with that. Alternatively, you scroll down, you could do bank transfers. You could set up your own little direct debit to Sapiens Institute. So there's a few different methods. Or you could just go through PayPal and do it there.
Got it. So the other question was about the book recommendations on liberalism. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, did Muhammad Hijab not write a book on liberalism?
No, not on liberalism specifically. I think the London Nia is going to cover it.
It does cover it. There's
But that
probably
book,
some references as well to particular books.
one book I would say there's it's a good series actually if you're studying any topic. It's published by Oxford. It's basically a very short introduction by Oxford. They do loads of these very short introductions on different topics. A lot of them are very good and objective. So it's a good place to start because they try not to take any specific side and just cover what that specific topic is. So there's one on liberalism as well. So maybe that's a good place to start. It's by Michael Friedman. It's called Liberalism: A Very Short Introduction by Oxford Press. So that may be a good place to start, inshallah. And then you got the Londonia course by Muhammad Ijab as well, which he has a whole section on, I think, on the Sapiens YouTube channel, where you can go through that. Have we got a course on the Sapiens Institute website on liberalism? There is a course on it, I think, bro.
I'm pretty sure we're producing one. If it's not been released already, I can have a look to see what's on there. So there's one on secularism. Secularism. I'm guessing the LGBT one's going to probably mention something on that.
Most courses will touch upon it, but I don't think there's a specific.
There's nothing explicitly on that at the moment
on liberalism, because it's tied in with some of these other ideologies anyway. So secularism is normally a broader term, that's why we tend to focus on that more, because it covers liberalism and all of these other similar ideologies that come under it. Basically, it's more of an umbrella term.
Maybe start with the course on secularism and just take it from there, and then watch the. If you go on YouTube and just search the Londonia liberalism, there should be one on there as well, and you can just sort of begin there. He'll make mention of certain authors, certain books. Just take note.
There is one very good book, bro. I'll highly recommend. Sheikh Fahd shared this with me. It's a short read. It's not too long. It's called Islam and Secularism by Sayyid Muhammad Naqub, I think, Al-Atas. You can get a paper version of it on Amazon as well, or you can download. The PDFs are available as well. I did start reading it. I went through a couple of chapters. This is a really good book, bro, on Islam and secularism, which obviously includes some of the other, godless isms under it. But this is a phenomenal book, bro. Honestly, it's well worth reading. It's a short book, but it's brilliant.
Oh, can you repeat the name of the author, please?
Yeah, it's Islam and Secularism, and I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the name?
Yeah. Islam and Secularism.
There are a few people recommended.
Got it, bro.
For the Daniel Haqiqi's book as well, The Modernist Menace to Islam.
Yeah, there's that as well.
I'm pretty sure that touches on this as well.
I'm trying to get a hard copy of this. It's hard to find.
But yeah, as well, the very short introductions he mentioned, they're a really good starting point, because if you do get one of them, there is a further reading at the end, and it gives you a broader reading syllabus to what you could venture into. I don't know. I've not got all of them at the office. Otherwise, I'd show you one. But they're really good. Usually, if I'm going to look into a subject, I'll pick up one of the very short introductions. You can read that, and then if you want to venture off into more, you go to the back, and then you'll have like references and further reading, and you can have a look at other books that one was referencing, or that one was saying that if you want to go in, do a deeper dive into that subject in particular, how you could do that.
It's usually, brother, like when we start to read something from the perspective of being an audience, so we want those books to come from you. That's why we become very, then we are, okay, it's a reliable book because it came from, for example, from the brother Yusuf or the brother Imran. Then we're okay with it, we can read it very compatibly and, easily. But
we do intend to produce books on these subjects. It just takes time. Like my book on nihilism, for example, on top of obviously the other tasks that I do, because I'm managing the Lighthouse project, I'm taking Lighthouse calls, I'm going to people's houses and meeting them and discussing their doubts and things like that. We're going to be producing these courses, which means going about to different masjids and universities to try to teach them. So along all of this, we're trying to like write books as well. Brother Imran's writing a book at the moment. It takes a while. My book on nihilism took a couple of years. It began as an essay, and it grew and it grew. I also want to write a book on Go rap, but in a lot more detail. So going into the stages of argumentation, or the debate on that subject of proving Islam in particular. I want to write a book on ethics. I'd love to write a book on atheism and secularism. Like we have these intentions, we really want to do it. It's just a case of having the time, having the resources, like all of these things. Books cost money as well, that kind of stuff. So we do intend to, and inshallah, obviously, it's an important subject, and we do want to have a book on all of these topics, and we're just in the process of producing these for you now. If you keep an eye on our website, you'll notice there's always something new being added to it. There's always a new book. There's always a new course. We're increasing our portfolio, and in time, inshallah, whatever it is that you're looking for, Sapiens Institute will hopefully be a free library with topics on everything, covering these things.
Yeah, on that note, brother, is Sapiens Institute thinking about opening different branches in different countries, like trying to go multinational?
We already have, so we've got a branch in America, and we've got a branch in the UK. And our aim, if you go to our website, it says, a world convinced of Islam. And we want to produce our content in multiple languages. We want to produce a learning platform in multiple languages. We want to be able to offer the Lighthouse Project in multiple languages. So we will need to have people involved in different countries as we expand and we branch out. But this is, again, it's something that takes time. And you don't want to grow too quickly, because especially if you've not got the infrastructure there, it can collapse. So we're just trying to sort of take baby steps and have that growth constantly every year. And if you keep up with us every Ramadan, there's always new things that have been done every year. We're constantly trying to improve and expand, and so we're going to continue to do that with the aim of being a global service to the whole ummah across the planet, in inshallah every language. Inshallah, at every moment you need someone, you'll have someone you can reach out to. Inshallah, that's our vision.
Because you mentioned global, it just reminded me, Hamza's book, The Divine Reality. Some brothers that we're working with in Pakistan have actually translated it and published it. So that website will be up soon as well. So the Divine Reality, that's been translated in Urdu. There may be a few more books in the future that may be translated. So there is work we're doing in the Asian subcontinent as well, along with everywhere else, inshallah.
You're great. Actually, some of my friends, they actually follow up your content and stuff like this. So they were thinking about like opening a school in their locality, right? And they were thinking about a name for the school. They're like still it's in infancy. They have not like made anything concrete out of it, but they're just thinking about it to maybe in the future they will have a school. So they're thinking about the name of the school. Then they said that we'll maybe name it Sapiens, right? Because the inspiration comes from you guys. So then they were thinking about, do we have to take the permission from them before we name the school and stuff like this? So it's in their locality, right? So I mean, you are inspiring people cross geographically, that's for sure, cross nationally also. So that's why I ask you about if you were planning to open the branch in different countries. So some people are ready, they could help, I mean, on multi dimensions, you see.
Yeah, so with regards to like referring to yourselves as Sapiens, the word itself isn't necessarily something that's trademarked. Like, as long as you make it unique, then there wouldn't necessarily be a problem with it. Anything that goes through us or like looks as if it is, for example, if you had the same branding, or these people, they open the school and they use the Sapiens Institute logo, the Sapiens Institute color branding, they're using our faces, etc. But we've not given direct, that's not something we would give permission for. simply because there's a process. You need, like, if you're going to become a part of Sapiens Institute, you need to sign an anti-extremism policy. You need to be vetted. There's steps that need to be taken place. Because if there is an association made, then anything that the associated quote unquote partner does reflects on us as an organization. And so we can't just have everyone and anyone who wants to just use our logo or use our name and so on and so forth, just do that as if they are an extension of us, especially if it's not officially set up by ourselves. But in terms of like the word sapiens, like if they wanted to say like, the Sapiens School for Young Minds or the Sapiens something, they can give their own little unique spin on the word. Like there's lots of organizations that have the same word in them. That's not a problem. And we, like I said, our goal is to equip people to be able to defend and share Islam and to teach. And if you want to set up a school, like, we'd be definitely like there to support whoever's wanting to do that. And, in the process of building that up, that's fine. And you can use our work. You can bring up our slides from the courses and try to teach them yourselves. That's perfectly fine as well. Like, we want people to make use of our content. That's okay. But there does need to be a distinction made. Obviously, if you're like working with us on an official capacity, then it's fine. If not, then you need to just make sure that the logo and everything and that your aesthetics are unique to you, and that you make that clear, so it's not to mislead people.
Yeah, understood completely. Yeah, thank you a lot, brother. That was really helpful. Thank you, brother Imran.
Jazakallah khair, bro. Thank you. May Allah bless you, bro. Jazakallah khair. Take care, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Okay, Yusuf. I think we could wrap it up, bro, for tonight, inshallah, if you want.
Yeah, I'm up for that. I'm getting sleepy now, and
inshallah,
I want to rest, inshallah.
Okay, brothers and sisters, Jazakallah khair for coming on. May Allah bless you guys. What we'll do is please share this live stream even after. If you're watching this after it's been recorded, please share it. And please, if you'd like to support the work that we're doing, go to sapiensinstitute.org/donate or /defenders, inshallah. That's the link that we're using for Ramadan. May Allah bless you guys. Jazakallah khair for supporting the work, inshallah. And inshallah, we will see you guys in the last 10 now. So our next stream will be on the 21st, inshallah. And we'll see you guys then, inshallah. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah, Yusuf, anything else you want to say, bro, before we wrap it up?
No, Jazakallah khair to everyone who's been watching, and anyone who's shared, and anyone who's donated either now or previously or is going to in the future. And if you can't donate financially, please, especially in these last 10 days, I just want to ask that you keep us in your dua. Make use of our content, like anything at all, any interaction with our organization, be that just simply sharing a link to the Lighthouse Project or sharing a link to our books, or just mentioning our YouTube channel. And when you see us post something, if you like and retweet, if you comment on the YouTube videos, you watch the video all the way through so that it affects the retention rate, that people are watching our videos and they're going through, they're not just clicking off at the beginning. All of these things contribute towards the growth of Sapiens Institute as an organization. And insofar as you play a part in that growth, we would like to thank you for that. Jazakallah khair. I won't see you all in the last 10 days because I'm, inshallah, intend to go do itikaf. But Brother Imran will be here, and inshallah, so will the other brothers in the organization. And I really hope that you can all contribute in whatever way you can, financially, with your attention, with your sharing, with whatever it is that you have within your capacity. But yeah, other than that, thank you for your ears. And
guys, I might actually go on a live in a little while on my channel. So if anyone is still up and wants to jump on, just go to Epistemics channel. But yeah, may Allah bless you guys. We'll see you guys on the 21st night, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.